As Gemma Gunning reports, it follows another 2 boat arrivals overnight.
One of the boats was intercepted north of the Ashmore Islands, the other near the Cocos Islands. Mr Palmer says the government should allow asylum seekers to fly into the country at 1/10 of the cost of coming on a people smuggler's boat. And as the boats arrive, the political stalemate on the issue continues. Shadow Immigration Minister Scott Morrison says the government has no excuse not to restore measures of...
If a coalition is elected at the next election, as exists today.
Gemma Gunning reporting.
Residents in parts of Victoria are bracing for possible flooding with heavy rain forecast for tomorrow. Up to 30 millimetres of rain is expected over the south-east Melbourne and western South Gippsland tomorrow. The SES is warning residents and holiday makers to take necessary precautions. Humanitarian Moira Kelly can now add Victorian of the Year to her long list of accomplishments. The children's carer has been presented with the honour during a ceremony at Melbourne Town Hall. Miss Kelly is well known for her decades of charitable efforts in helping disabled and sick children all across the world, and her predecessor as Victorian of the Year, Father Bob Maguire, says she does an amazing job.
She's a great woman, and she's just totally and permanently, passionately dedicated to mothering.
Briefly in other news, a move to ban live betting odds from sport broadcasts is being welcomed by anti-gambling campaigners. Melbourne Police are launching a blitz on rail crossing safety, saying too many people are taking around train tracks, and actor Tom Cruise is said to be deeply saddened after his wife of 5 years, Katie Holmes, filed for divorce. Updating sport now, and Magpies coach Nathan Buckley says his side is not getting carried away with their spot at the top of the ladder.
Yeah, our playing group are under no illusions. We've got away with a couple at times, we've won some tight games, but at other times we've performed extremely well and we've been satisfied with those efforts. So it's still sort of a long way to go in the season. Round 14, come up against a very strong opponent in Fremantle, and we're fully focused on.
And Collingwood takes on Fremantle at the MCG this afternoon, chasing their 10th straight win. Also in action this afternoon, the Crows and Richmond in Adelaide, and West Coast play Gold Coast. Tonight, Essendon takes on the Western Bulldogs, and the Sydney Derby is at ANZ Stadium. Last night, Carlton lost to Hawthorn by 50 points. In tennis, Roger Federer will take on Xavier Malisse in the 4th round at Wimbledon after coming from to love down to beat Julian Benneteau. Federer says he's very relieved to have survived the tough match.
It was obviously great to be part of such a match, and then when you come through, it's even a better feeling because your spirits are lifted up and you're still in the tournament and you'll get another chance.
And in cricket, Australia has lost its one-day opener to England by 15 runs sent in. England made 272. News time, it's 1:05.
Radio Eastern 98.1 Weather Update.
Bureau forecast for Melbourne's outer east for today, partly cloudy, scattered showers with possible hail, mainly in the afternoon and evening. The chances of thunderstorms during winds north to northwesterly, going for a top today of 12. And the outlook for Sunday is showers and 12. Sunday showers increasing and 11. Monday showers and 12. Tuesday a possible shower and 13. And Wednesday a possible shower and 12. Currently in Melbourne's outer east, it's sitting on 11 degrees at 1:05. This is Radio Eastern 98.1.
Now it's time to go local for your footy. This is EFL Saturday. Let's jump straight into the warm-up.
From disappointments to absolute champions on top of the world. That's Wantirna South for you after they knocked over North Ringwood last weekend. The top of the table, North Ringwood, for just their their 6th loss, I should say, in 3 home and away seasons. They come up against the Chirnside Park side today that we're looking forward to seeing how they go. Bit of a disappointing past month for the Panthers. It's 8th versus 9th in Division 3, and we're certainly looking forward to this contest after 2 p.m. My name is Ben Waterworth. I'll be your pre-match host before, of course, we broadcast this game on 98.1 Radio Eastern, and of course streaming live on www.efl.org.au. Time to welcome 2 other men who will be help bringing you the broadcast this afternoon. It's a very good afternoon to one of the more experienced men on the EFL Media Team, Dyson Baker.
Very good afternoon to you, Benny, and to all our listeners. Really looking forward to this one. It's an interesting one. I mean, you look at some of the other games around, especially Division 3 this week, and we could have gone anywhere else, but this one really serves up as a little bit of an interesting clash, and I suppose last chance saloon for both these sides this afternoon.
Joining us in pre-match this afternoon, he's a rising star here on this media team, and he's just here, there and everywhere. Daniel Senchik.
Very good afternoon to you, Ben, and to you, Dyson Baker, and all the listeners out there. Look, today looms as a very interesting game, as Dyson said. Last chances on the line, and Wantirna South, as we saw on Wednesday night, not quite done within season 2012 yet.
Where do we see this game and the importance of it? I was actually talking to Brett Davidson before, the coach at Chirnside Park, who will have it on a tick, so I won't steal too much of his thunder. But he reckons this is probably the most important match of the season for the club to date, and it's a fair statement as well, because when you have a look at the Division 3 ladder at the moment, these two teams only separated by 1%. Well, they're right next to each other, I should say. Wantirna South 4 and 6, Chirnside Park 4 and 6. There is a but Chirnside Park, if they're able to get a victory today, that'll just put them that one step ahead and one win away them from Ringwood and Mitcham, who currently sit 5 and 5 as well, Dice.
Yeah, but I suppose the interesting thing is the winner also gives themselves a little bit of a gap. They play roughly the same sort of sides. They both play Ringwood. They both play Templestowe on the run home. They play a couple of the lower sides. Warrandyte and the White Horse Pioneers, I suppose. They're no Monties, though. But it's just one of those interesting things that this will put them a game ahead, give them that opportunity, give them that confidence, and then it's probably, I mean, you still probably need to win out of the remaining games. You probably need to take home probably 6 wins out of the rest of the game, but it opens up the door a little bit more.
Dan, do you reckon this is a danger game, though, for the Devils? It's like a fantastic effort to beat North Ringwood last weekend. We've talked about it plenty of times on all our media platforms throughout the week, but they're coming up against a side that is now 8-9 places lower than North Ringwood on the ladder. Wantirna South, just, I think more importantly, they need a good start more than anything else today.
Well, Chirnside Park are going to be out for revenge today, there's no doubt about it. You look at their game last week against Warrandyte and they went down by a kick, and now Warrandyte haven't had a very good year as it is, but to go down to a side desperate as Warrandyte were, absolutely fantastic effort by the Warrandyte Footy Club there. But look, you look at the logjam in the middle in the Division 3 ladder, you've got Ringwood, Mitcham, Wantirna South and Chirnside Park, all vying for maybe that last spot in September action, so very big danger game for today.
Certainly is for Wantirna South. They need to be on their game as well. Now, if you had a look at, if you're at Eastern Football, the mighty Eastern Footballer today, you would be seeing that Warrandyte and the White Horse Pioneers were supposed to be our radio game. We did have a late withdrawal from Warrandyte. They do have a luncheon going on today. Just a little bit difficult to accommodate us. So Chirnside Park, big thank you to them for opening up their doors at the very last minute as well. So very nicely done to Chirnside Park Football Club, and a big day today for them as well. Who were some of the key players in today's game, Dan? We know about Wantirna South and this rising group of young players, but they've also got very confident and very excited after last weekend's game. Is it the older guys or the younger guys, in your opinion, that really do need to lift for the Devils today?
Look, I think it's a bit of a mix of both. And also we're talking about blokes like Daniel Bedome. It's a fantastic forward for them, especially with the absence of Michael Jamison. He's going to need to lift a little bit across that half-forward line to really present it as a target.
For Chirnside Park, and I remember in my first year in the media team, 2009, they won the Division 4 premiership, and they've come up and they just haven't been able to take that next step as of yet. We thought, going on their results at the start of the season, that they might be able to start pushing towards the finals, Dice, but it just hasn't sort of come on in that past month. And personally, I think it's probably because they don't have that big target up at full forward. And of course, a couple of years ago, they had Big Dave Mazins down there, who was obviously a goal-kicking machine, but you know, Aaron Petnella's down there, but he's a ruckman. They just don't have that big forward at the moment, do Chirnside? Yeah, look, it's not worth kind of risking him as a key forward. I mean, he's a brilliant ruckman. We've all seen him play, and I suppose the pepping Scotty Hamill, a few of those guys, and now the more experienced players in this Chirnside Park lineup. The London boys now are really starting to cement themselves as Chirnside Park favourites, and I think those probably 5 guys are really crucial in Chirnside Park, and you probably need 4 or 5 of them firing on all cylinders to get over the line of Wantirna South. You seen Daniel London play much? Not a lot. I've seen the other two, but not so much Daniel. He's only come onto the scene in the last couple of years, but it's been a while since I've been out here, especially been out to Kimberley. I don't think I've actually covered a game for the EFL out here for sort of 3 or 4 years, I mean, outside their premiership year, I think was the last time that I've covered Chirnside Park. It's a fantastic little ground out here. Great little community club as well. And the hamburger is going very nicely down there. The boys doing a fantastic job on the barbecue as well. As mentioned, Daniel London, because I reckon he's one of the best players going around in Division 3 at the moment. He's an absolute star, so watch out for him today. You mentioned Steve Pepping, the Pepper Grinders. We love seeing him going about his business. He can play in the midfield, he can play back, he can also play up forward as well. So looking forward to seeing how he goes as well. Final tip, gents, before we getting our guests in to the EFL Game Day caravan. Chirnside Park or Wantirna South, and why, Dan?
Look, I go with Wantirna South, but only by the barest of margins and not with a lot of confidence. As we were talking about just before, they're two very evenly matched sides and they're very even on the ladder at the moment. One's out to bounce back, the other's to back up a memorable victory last week against the best side in Division 3. Wantirna South, but by a single figure.
Yeah, you've seen this one, Dice?
Look, I'm going to swing the other way, only through home ground advantage. And I mean, it's one of those things that Wantirna South are one of those sides where they need those old heads to fire for 4 quarters to really get over the line. I mean, we've seen it in a couple of their losses that a lot of the guys that were firing were the younger guys, a bit quieter, the older heads of this club. And I think Chirnside Park, if they can lock them down early, they can get on top quite convincingly. It's not going to be overly convincing to win, but just the manner they'll do it is probably a couple of goals. But Chirnside Park for mine.
I said a couple of weeks ago, and I got a bit of stick on the floor, and probably rightly so after they won last weekend. But Wantirna South were one of the most disappointing teams in 2012. Was I going a little bit harsh there, Dice?
Oh, I mean, before last weekend's game, you probably would have said that they haven't really proven anything. They haven't beaten any of the side. This is going before last weekend, before we get a couple of texts in on 0419654082 that Wantirna South were one of those sides that were just beating the sides below them, were very, very unconvincing against the sides above them. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, they were disappointing. I mean, this is the side that was coming down from Division 2. Yes, they had a poor season out at Camel Corner, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, they should be a top 5 side regardless.
It was actually Ben Warren Smith who said that. Ben Water.
Oh well, according to the forum. According to the forum, the forum's always right, of course, in the Eastern Football League. We do love the mighty forum, and you can always have your say on there. You can also have your say through Twitter and through Facebook as well. Tweet us during the day, Footy EFL at Footy EFL, or of course on Facebook, facebook.com/Eastern Football League, all one word. Or you can text us 0419 654 082. Barry back in the studio. We might just have a quick break. We're just going to try and fix a couple of our microphones here, and we'll come back after the break with hopefully some interviews with the coaches. Of course, Matt Clark of the Wantirna South Footy Club and Brett Davidson, our very good friend here at the EFL Media Team, the coach of the Chirnside Park Football Club. This is EFL Game Day, proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app, Dyson. I know you're all over this one. Go to m.efl.org.au in your mobile device browser and press Add to Home Screen for mobile access to the latest EFL news, scores and updates. A very, very good app. Yeah, get on it now. It's a very, very handy application. We're going to take our first break here on EFL Game Day. Interviews with the coaches right after this.
Your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. Eastlink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's east, and Tag's the cheapest way to use Eastlink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use Eastlink in the cheapest possible way with a Tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. Ball! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
Every club expects their team. You'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio East.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear. The team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
Come aboard with the new Whistleblowers every Monday evening between 7 and 10, right here on Radio Eastern, and enjoy a journey back through the history of our great country. We'll ride the rails on trains old and new, sail the seas on great ships of the past, and fly the skies with the pioneers of yesteryear and the jetliners of today. Be enthralled by tales of the gold rush days, of epic journeys of exploration, and the grim days when war came to Australia. Enjoy the nostalgia of earlier years of Australian radio. Hear history first-hand from a wide variety of guests, and be a contributor to the program with your own tales and recollections. Join me, Bob Hazelwood, and the team for the new Whistleblowers every Monday evening between 7 and 10, right here on Radio Eastern 98.1.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Yes, it's cold, it's windy, but it's warming up here in the EFL Game Day Caravan because we're just getting set for an outstanding contest between Chirnside Park and Park-Wantirna South. Full broadcast after 2 p.m. right here on 98.1 Radio Eastern and, of course, streaming on efl.org.au. Time to welcome our first special guest into EFL Game Day's Caravan today, and he's doing okay, and he's certainly flying high after last weekend with a huge victory over North Ringwood. Can't wipe that smile off his face. It's a very good afternoon to the senior coach of the Park-Wantirna South Footy Club, Matt Clark.
How are we going?
We're doing very well. Most importantly, how are you doing? Because it's a very important game for you guys. We're just saying beforehand that you play a side like North Ringwood, then you play a side 8 spots below them, a little bit later than that. So you've really got to be on your game today, and especially at the start of the game. Definitely.
A lot of our focus this week. I mean, we moved on. We took North Ringwood as a really great win, but from Sunday onward, we moved on. And we spoke about Chirnside Park. We played them once before, and we just got a scrappy. We grinded out a win by 19 points the first time. We got a lot of respect for them. We both sit 4 and 6, and I spoke to the guys in the rooms just before that our challenge today, and to make the North Ringwood win worth anything, we have to actually start well and put a good performance again.
What are some of your key performance indicators, your KPIs today to try and get that 4 points on the board?
A couple of things we really monitor. Like every club, probably inside 50s and that, but we look at for handball receives. We need to run. We're not a massive side, so our run is critical, our spread. Centre clearances, we've been really well in contested footy. So, again, we're going to look for incremental improvement. And I think today the wind and the ground conditions will be a fairly scrappy affair. So the
one thing that I just noticed as I was looking through the record is your reserves are just cruising along at the moment, a percentage of 300. They sit 10 zip on top of the ladder. Is that almost, I suppose, attributing to a little bit of success running through the senior side, just the pressure for selection and that sort of thing?
Definitely. I suppose early on we didn't. The twos have been good for a year and a half now, and the age group in the twos, we've got a couple of older guys, but the spread really is from under 21. So a lot of them are mates. They play together. They want to play seniors now because we've got 9 or 10 blokes under 20 playing in their senior side, and they're all tight-knit group, so they want to play with their mates. So that does put pressure, and the twos performing every week, playing the game style that we want to play, certainly is the ultimate internal pressure that we need.
Now, it's an interesting situation for you boys. I mean, you only sit 2 games outside the 5 at the moment. You've got a reasonably tough run home. I think you play 3 out of the top 5 sides on the way home, as well as Warrandyte and a couple of other sides. But, I mean, how is it trying to keep the boys going? I mean, you're sitting in 9th or 8th at the moment, and you've got to try and keep these boys going to try and make that push in the last half of the year.
It's not really a battle. I mean, it probably looks on the ladder and everything like it would be a battle. We realise that we've been in a lot of games, and coming from last year playing away from their ground and winning only 2 games, that was a battle. This year, I think they've got a lot of confidence from the way they've trained and performed, but more importantly, the belief's starting to come from a couple of scoreboard results. So, yeah, I mean, we're not looking any further ahead. We've got Warrandyte next week, but today is all about Chirnside Park, and if we let this one slip, well, you know, effectively our year's probably...
Would you close the door if you didn't get up today?
No, definitely not. Yep. No, definitely not. I think we're one of those sides, and because we're so young, that momentum builds really quickly. And I think you've seen what we could do last week, albeit, you know, it's only 1 victory, but we could have... Bronya was 4 points, or 6 points. You know, Glen Waverley Hawks was 4 points. A couple of those other games that we really let slip, Heathmont by 4 points. That, you know, I think we're not as bad as what, you know, the 4 and 6 is, but that's reality too. We've got to deal in reality.
Yeah. Matt, the side's had a few injuries this season, of course, to Michael Jamison, really important player for you guys. How's he tracking along in terms of making a return?
Yeah, we got a lot better news than first or initially thought with Jamo. He was season ending when we first got the news. They were suspecting a meniscus or maybe even a medial ligament, which wouldn't have been great for us. He would have been 6 to 7 weeks, and effectively not training over that time would have meant one game. But he's come along really good. He's quite possibly might not play next week, but the week after. So that is fantastic news for us. But I'm really excited on the flip side of that. We're playing some young kids, and I think last week a lot of people looked. Jammer gets so much of the footy, and they looked for him to do so much that last week they thought, well, we're going to have to take up the slack, and so it's a great opportunity for us in the meantime.
Yeah, and who have been these players this season who have really stood up in light of those injuries? I mean, injuries are a bad concern, but they always present an opportunity for young kids to come in and really strut their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Ange Papa's been a fantastic inclusion in the club. He missed a week, or it might have been 2 weeks, with a slight groin strain, but his crumbing ability, his one-on-one in the air,
led a Young Gun nomination.
Yeah, he's a really super aggressive footballer. Chris Phillips has stood up as an older guy. Jackson Freeman at centre half back as a kid. Again, we've got 2 guys that are eligible to play under 19s in key roles for us. So they've been fantastic. But we've had good spread. Daniel Crome as a ruck rover has really made the step up. He played 6 senior games of footy before this year. He's been one of our best in and under players. So yeah, good work. Speaking
of Jackson Freeman, Father Mark, of course, the EFL Development Manager at there at Scoresby Road, is, I think, from what I understand, he's been given the white jacket. He's in late inclusion as a goal umpire this afternoon.
Warming up his arms at the moment.
So very interesting to see how young Mark goes around. Of course, Jackson will be towards Mark at one stage, so interesting to see how that goes. You can certainly put the pressure on him to make sure he gets those signals right, Matt.
We'd like maybe 1 or 2 decisions our way, that's for sure.
Well, we appreciate your time, Matt. We know it's an interesting time for a coach at this time, about 20 past 1, but good luck for today, and hopefully good luck for the rest of the season as well.
Thanks very much, guys. Thank you.
Matt Clark, the coach there of the Wantirna South Football Club, very, very much appreciate his time as well. And it's an interesting day for Wantirna South as well, because it's after coming from such a high last week, they've really got to start very well, as we talked about before, Dice.
I was just having a look through, and I did mention the fixture. They've got Warrandyte, Coldstream and Ringwood after this week, and if you can get a win today, I'm going to say there's even no David has just chucked a headset on, but if they can get a win today, they probably string another 4 games together. They go to 8 and 6, and they're definitely back on the offensive coming into the last month of the season.
One man who will certainly not want that momentum to start today is, of course, he's a very good friend of ours on the EFL Media Team, but most importantly, he's the coach of the Chirnside Park Football Club. Very good afternoon to Davo, Brett Davidson.
Gents, how are we?
We're doing okay. We're great to be back out here. We came out here last year. I think we saw Chirnside Park win by about 80-odd points against Coldstream as well. From then, when we saw you guys then to now, have you noticed a lot of difference in terms of personnel throughout the club, new faces around?
Yeah, look, obviously from year to year you're going to have a number of changes, and we've had the same this year, and we've probably got probably 10 to 12 new players into our team this year than what you would have seen last year, and most of those would be young blokes. A couple of recruits. We're a bit the same as Wantirna South in the fact that we've both been hit by injury, and we both probably can't afford to be hit by too many injuries. While we think every start of the year you think you've got depth, the reality is that unless you go out and buy a heap of footballers, your depth is you're probably down to about 30 strong, and you take 4 or 5 injuries, and so that hits you. And we got hit early, and that's probably been a thing that we're trying to recover at the moment with. But today looks like a game again between 2 sides that's probably their grand final, I would imagine. So early finals football for you guys.
It certainly is. We're looking forward to it as well. And talk to us about the importance of this game, because you guys have dropped your past 4. You come up against Wantirna South, who beat the top of the table team this week. During the week, have you really felt that this is one of the most important game, if not the most, for the season?
Yeah, I suppose, look, as a coach, you talk cliches all the time about 1 week at a time stuff, but we have looked at this as being a major game for us. We play probably the 5 teams around us in the next 6 weeks. So if you're going to think that you're even going to be close to playing finals, well, they're the teams you've got to beat. Yeah. You can't afford to hope and wait and expect other teams to do things for you by beating teams. So this is one we have to win. If we think that we want to play finals, then we have to beat a team that's on or about the same level as us. So very, very big game for us, and we think we've picked a pretty good side. We know Wantirna South have got a good side, so I think it'll be a really cracking game, actually.
In terms of the injuries, Davo, do you feel as though the guys that you've brought in just to fill that void have stood up for most of the season, or is there still some spots that are lacking that you'd like to clean up before the end of the year?
I suppose probably both sides would be in the same boat as we both miss a key forward.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the goal kicking ladders, neither of us have got anyone in the top 10, and that's been quite evident throughout the year, and that's probably been our biggest hole for the year, is the fact that while we think our midfield's solid and works pretty hard, now our back half's workmanlike, we just haven't been able to put the score on the board often enough. And if you look at it through, for us, we've had 3 guys kick more than 5 goals in a game, and 2 of them have been backmen.
Yeah.
So it's that thing at the moment we're trying to manufacture something. That's difficult mid-year, but yeah, look, the boys that have come up have done a pretty good job, but nothing beats having a Sheen or a Carnelli or an Eccles or something that we come up against, or a Morello every week. So, that's the beauty of having a key forward in this division.
Did you consider going out pre-season to try and pick up a forward, or was it trying to get someone in-house that you saw a bit of talent with him?
Well, we actually did pick up a forward, picked up a very good player from the Goulburn Valley area, played a couple of practice matches with us, played some really good football, and we haven't seen him since, so we don't know what's going on there. He hasn't put in a clearance to go anywhere else, so and that puts a big hole in your preparation, because you're talking about a week before round 1.
Especially when you're basing everything around.
You've got your full forward, you think you've got this and this and this, and suddenly you don't have it. It throws everything to disarray, but that's the trials and tribulations of coaching, and you just got to get over it.
Now, Brett, we don't like to dwell on the last 4 weeks. They haven't been too good, but in terms of, and especially last week's loss, in terms of that, what have you learnt that you can kind of take into today's match to kind of assist you to get a win?
I think the first thing we took out of last week is that I think Warrandyte's position on the ladder is a complete oversight, and if you look at their draw, you probably can see that they play us twice in the last 9, Whitehorse twice in the last 9. They've played all the top sides twice in the run, so they're a good football side, and it was just a struggle out here. It was pretty muddy. I thought it was a great contest all day, and we just they come up with a goal in the last minute and a half that got them over the line, and that happens in footy. The week before we played North Ringwood at North Ringwood, and they came out and played probably the best half of footy I've seen in 3rd Division for a long, long time, and they had 13 goals up at half time.
Yeah.
And we've kicked 10 goals, 9 to 5 goals in the second half. So we've taken a lot into the fact that we're playing some good footy, and in fact we've played good footy all year, and really the only game that I think we've been really disappointing in was Ringwood here. They're the only team that we haven't actually had a chance in at any stage, and that was the week that Nick Tennant was given his marching orders, and they came out and played some great footy, which happens.
Surely, though, last week, kicking 6 goals, 13, I think a lot of the talk of needing a key forward, maybe it's warranted, but you seem to be getting a lot of the ball down the forward line.
Yeah,
so it's just a matter of nailing your opportunity. You get them?
You've just summed up our year. That's exactly what we've talked about all year. We've probably won the inside 50 count nearly every game. I would think that out of the 13 points that we kicked last week, 7 of them would have been set shots inside 30. Having said that, Warrandyte missed a couple of easies as well. But yeah, that's killed us this year, is the fact that we just haven't kicked the goals when we needed to kick them. It's not just the total at the end. We all know that in games of football there are crucial times and crucial moments, and it seems to be that when we've needed to kick that goal, whether it's the first goal in the last quarter or the first goal of the game, we've missed it, and that's when you lose that impetus, you lose that confidence, and things go awry from there.
Now, we know you're a big stats man. The stats boy's still going strong. I remember sitting in the stats box a couple of times last year on Around the Ground Support, still going strong.
Yeah, very, very good. So I get plenty of feedback each quarter as to how we're going, and look, it's just a little 1%er that helps us along the line and gives us an opportunity to review exactly where we're at. It doesn't win you games of footy, but what it does is it gives you an opportunity to see where you've gone maybe wrong, or, as we said, winning inside 50s is a good thing to know, and then it comes down to the forward half making sure that they start to take those opportunities.
And one of our favourite players here in the EFL Media Team, Mr. Pepper Grinder, Steve Pepping, are we going to see a big game from him today up forward possibly?
You would hope that he would play, but he's had a sensational season. Yeah. He has been absolutely outstanding. And apart from Trent Farmer for Ringwood, Nipper hasn't been beaten this year. So he's played some absolutely sensational games. So
he can play anywhere, can't he?
Unbelievable. Fantastic. I wish I had 6 of him.
Yeah.
So he's one of the ones that kicked 5 goals in round 1 against Coldstream. We lose our best backman that week. He has to go and play back nearly the whole year. We put him down forward again, kicks another 4. So, yeah, you're at, you don't know what to do in that situation. So hopefully today we don't have to use him up forward, but you never know.
He's the ultimate switch man. We're looking forward to seeing how he goes about sides out on the field now, just warming up. Davo, we know it's a very stressful time for a coach, but we do appreciate you coming in. Good luck today. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully, for our sake, you don't make the final so you can come do some special comments work, but hopefully you guys can sneak into that top 5 a little bit later on.
Thanks, boys, and have a great call.
Brett Davidson, the coach of the Chirnside Park Football Club, much appreciate his time as always. Fantastic contest brewing here at KImberley Reserve, and we're going to go through all the other games besides that one after the break on here on EFL Game Day. You can text us anytime on 0419 654 082 or Twitter us at FootyEFL, Facebook.com/Eastern Football League. And of course you can get all the scores today, live scores, because we'll be tweeting away on your EFL mobile web app. Go to mformother.efl.org.au in your mobile device browser. Press add to home screen, and then you can get all the mobile access to the latest EFL news, scores, and of course all the live score updates this afternoon. We're going to take a break here at KImberley Reserve. We're going to come back and look at all the other games around the Eastern Football League today. Coming up after this, right here on EFL Game Day.
Hi there, this is Ken Donnelly. Tuesday afternoons at 4, you're invited to join me for the Easy Drive Home. A variety of music from the best artists of yesterday and today. Contemporary rock and pop, a bit of jazz and blues, as well as some of that much-loved music from stage and screen. I'll also have lots of information about what's going on in our local community, together with traffic reports and the latest news, sport and weather. And it's all specially designed to make your day feel just that little bit easier. So come on, how about joining me for the Easy Drive Home every Tuesday afternoon at 4, right here on Radio Eastern 98.1. And by all means, bring along a friend.
20% makes a lot of difference. Imagine your team kicking 20% less goals and being 20% behind on the scoreboard. Actually, let's not. Now, imagine using a Breeze Tag account on Eastlink and getting a 20% discount on all weekend car trips. No need to imagine, it's for real. Open your account online at eastlink.com.au and get 20% off car trips all weekend, every weekend on Eastlink. Now, let's give my mate Ross 20% more stick for being 4 goals behind. Hey, Roscoe! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor. In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayfield North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
Now, do you have sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness? It sounds like you need medical assistance urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Akira Urgent Care when you don't need an appointment and you won't have to wait. They are Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road in Boronia or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer, LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Yes, EFL Game Day continuing out here at KImberley Reserve. It's Chirnside Park and Wantirna South after 2 p.m. Looking forward to bringing you that broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern FM and, of course, video streaming live on efl.org.au. Of course, EFL Game Day proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app, m.efl.org.au. Information from the Eastern Football League. Gentlemen, Dan and Dyson joining me here. It's time to have a look at all the other games around the Eastern Football League today. And let's start in Division 4 with a game between two sides dwindling towards the bottom of Division 4 at the moment, Canterbury and Park Orchards. Canterbury with, Park Orchards with a fantastic win last weekend. Of course, a 178-point turnaround against the Basin, and then a great win over Eastern Lions last weekend. I think Park Orchards for mine, away from home, just purely because of the motivation and momentum they produced last weekend.
Yeah, look, I reckon Park Orchards to make it 2-0 up against Canterbury today.
Yeah, look, South Belgrave tore Canterbury apart last weekend, and that was a really confidence-destroying loss. Park Orchards have really impressed me this season. They should continue and get their fourth win of the year.
Good stuff. Eastern Lions and South Belgrave is our next game. Of course, these two teams play Canterbury and Park Orchards, the game beforehand. For mine, South Belgrave, I think it's a good opportunity for Eastern Lions to test themselves and prove just how good they are, but South Belgrave, they should play in the grand final this year in Division 4, surely, guys.
Look, this is an interesting one for the Eastern Lions. I think it'll be a case of them having to hang on. I mean, they've got a percentage gap of about 8% in a game on Ferntree Gully. Ferntree Gully get up this afternoon, and South Belgrave do a job on Eastern Lions. It could get very interesting as they play Surrey Park. But look, yeah, I think it's just a case of Eastern Lions trying to concede the game, but try and hold off as much as they can on the big scoreline.
Yeah, I've been a big believer for a few weeks now that there's two teams in Division 4, Basin and South Belgrave, and the rest daylight. The Basin, of course, play Nunawading. We'll talk about that game in a minute. But, yeah, I think there's too big a gap between the best and the worst sides in that top 5 echelon of the competition.
It makes for interesting, possibly an interesting Division 4 next year when one of these teams go, we assume the Basin and South Belgrave go up. It makes for a very even Division 4 next year. Looking forward to that one, but looking forward even more to the Ferntree Gully Eagles Surrey Park game, gentlemen. But I think Ferntree Gully will probably have a little bit too much firepour. Geez, they've been disappointing. They'll really want a big percentage boosting win today.
I think the key is today for Ferntree Gully trying to maximise exactly what they can get out of this game, because they've got a reasonably tough run home. They've got the Eastern Lions next week, which will be their final going into the second half of the year, and then they've got a few of the lower places around them. So if they can get a bit of percentage out of this one, they're well on their way.
Oh, definitely. Percentage boosting game for sure. Look, they sit just outside that top 5, and Eastern Lions are 5 and 4 just inside the top 5. So if they can cash in on this opportunity against Surrey Park, they're set.
Interesting game out at Forest Hill Reserve today with Forest Hill taking on Chrinside. Now, Chrinside is a team that have improved, I think, over the past couple of weeks, certainly on the scoreboard and results-wise. They've certainly been doing some fantastic work there. And they come up against a Forest Hill unit that is probably struggling for a little bit for confidence and form at the moment. I'm actually going for Chrinside in this game. I think they can cause a bit of an upset.
Yeah, slept around a little bit last week for Forest Hill to the hands of the base, and I'm going to go with Forest Hill only because they're at home. Chrinside, we know they're a young up-and-coming side. I reckon they're due for next season, but I reckon for me, Forest Hill.
Even though Forest Hill haven't won a game since round 6, we forget that they put in a very strong showing against South Belgrave. Look, going down by 8 points, I think it was, in South Belgrave, one of the best sides in this competition. So, look, I'm going to go for Forest Hill today. No better day to turn their form around.
Nunawading taking on the Basin, as you mentioned just before, Dan, is our last game in Division 4. Good opportunity for Nunawading to test themselves against the very best, and there's no doubt that the Basin are the best side in Division 4 at the moment, and I think they'll prove that today with quite a convincing victory.
1 versus 3, you'd say this could be a reasonably close game, but I suppose that just demonstrates how far away these two sides are, that I reckon Nunawading are looking at probably 5 to 10 goal defeat
there, Dyson. Look, first versus third says the game's going to be a belter, but if you look at both teams' forms throughout the year, it's going to be a one-way affair. Look at these names: Power, Galiccio, Coltrera, Kruger, Clinton King, Den Braber. Basin by a country mile.
And the Clinton King has been an outstanding pickup for the Basin this year.
Fantastic.
Of course, the former AFL player doing great work down there at Batterham Reserve. And, of course, Sylvan having the bye in Division 4. Division 3 time, gents. And this is one of the juiciest-looking Division 3 rounds I think I've ever seen in the Eastern Football League. And one of them is Templestowe taking on Heathmont out there at Porter Street. Templestowe, a bit of a sleeping giant, just very quietly, with not a lot of sort of sass about them, have climbed their way up the Division 3 ladder, and they're doing it very nicely. Heathmont have just dropped off the pack a little bit today, and I think that form will continue today with Templestowe getting a good victory. Yeah, look, it was 41 points in favour of Heathmont at home in round 1. I think that's going to change this afternoon, unfortunately. Out at Porter Street, Templestowe are a very good side at home, and they've proven that, and they've definitely proven themselves over the last sort of 2 months or so in this competition. They sit in third, and I reckon that's where they're going to stay this afternoon.
I've got a conviction to stick to here, boys. Look, I tipped Heathmont as the roughie on Wednesday night's knockoff.
Yes.
I'm going to stick with that because there's only one game between them. Templestowe been in fantastic form, but I can feel an upset. We like honesty here on the EFL Media Team, and Dan Sanchik certainly living up to that. Baronia taking on Mitcham. Mitcham, a very disappointing side, I think, particularly over the past couple of weeks, past month and a half or so. While Baronia just keep on going about their business, but they have dropped down to 4th position on the ladder at the moment. They were up in 2nd for a while. I think they'll bounce back today out there at Tullamore Reserve, though.
I tell you what, it doesn't get any easier for Mitcham. You look through their next month of footy, they've got Baronia this afternoon, Glen Waverley Hawks next week, then they've got Mitcham away from home. They then take on Chirnside Park, who might be playing for their spot in the finals, and then they get a couple of easy weeks, and then they've got North Ringwood and who's the other one? Templestowe to finish off. So they play all of the top 5 sides in the last few weeks of the season. It's going to be a tough road, and I think it's going to start tough this afternoon. I reckon Baronia reasonably easily at home. Yeah, the beauty of footy is you can always turn things around the very next week, and costly loss of Baronia. As Ben said, they're in 2nd place, and they dropped back to 4th to bring them back to the even pack with Templestowe and Heathmont. And look, Mitch's tests against the better sides this season haven't been too flattering. North Ringwood, Glen Waverley Hawks, and they also lost to Baronia last time by 35 points. I think Baronia to bounce back this week. Huge game out at Warrandyte Reserve today. Warrandyte taking on the Whitehorse Pioneers. The winner distancing themselves even more from the dreaded R word in Division 3. We heard Brett Davidson before really talking up Warrandyte. He was very glowing in their performances over this season. Can they do it today? I think at home they can, but the Whitehorse Pioneers proved last weekend that they can certainly match it with teams right up there with a victory over Heathmont, but Warrandyte for mine today. Well, the interesting thing is round 14, I think it's going to be when Coldstream meet Whitehorse, and that could be the one if Warrandyte get up this afternoon. Whitehorse need to win this just due to their percentage. They sit about 20% behind both Coldstream and Warrandyte. If they're going to stay up, they need to win this afternoon. I reckon that's what they'll do. Besides, they fight relegation down to Division 4, of course, next season. But look, I think the home ground advantage lies with Warrandyte. It's a massive ground out there, and I'm not sure the Whitehorse Pioneers will have enough legs to run the game out. I've liked Warrandyte's last few weeks. You know, I think they've been fantastic, aside from a poor showing against a very good side in Baronia a few weeks back. But look, I think Warrandyte will get the job done. From the R word relegation to the P word of premiership and promotion, Glen Waverley Hawks taking on North Ringwood in probably what is match of the round across all the Eastern football. While there's a couple of Division 1 games that we'll get to, but clearly game of the round in Division 3 today. The Hawks have just surprised everyone so far in 2012, and they're going about their business nicely, but North Ringwood will be devastated after last weekend, and I think they'll have a point to prove this afternoon, and I think we'll probably get about a 4 or 5 goal victory. Yeah, I reckon North Ringwood reasonably comfortably. I still think, even after last week, they're the premier side in this competition. Privately seething North Ringwood after last week's loss, I'd imagine. But yeah, I agree with you, Ben. They've got a point to prove this week. But Glen Waverley Hawks will push them all away. And if you flick your record to a certain page, there's a very handy article on a very... He could have a very good game today, but look, I'm going to stick with North Ringwood. You are living up to the sort of arrogant head wobble style material that we love here on the EFL Media Team. Dan Sanchik doing some fantastic work. Here's a good article. Check it out on page 9. Jump to page 13 while you're there as well. Bam for glory. Even just as good, apparently. Coldstream taking on Ringwood is our final game in Division 3. Coldstream now sitting isolated on the bottom of Division 3. They take on Ringwood, who is probably, if you look at it, maybe one of those few sides that can probably sneak into that top 5 if they're able to get a victory today. It's plenty of confidence, and I think out there at Arctic Park it'll be cold, but I think it'll be reigning Ringwood premiership points today. 4 points for Ringwood. Well, this is an interesting one. I reckon this was at home for Ringwood. I'd say Ringwood all the way, but I think Coldstream can just be that little bit competitive. If we do see the rain come this afternoon, we might see a little bit more of a competitive Coldstream, and I'm going to go Coldstream to get up. And I'll tell you what, that could be sort of do or die for Ringwood this afternoon. They need a couple more wins to just push their way up the table. I agree with you all except your tip, Dyson. Look, I think the pressure lies with
to that 5 and 6 mark, right? And they've got some really tough games ahead as well. They're very good offensively, and I think the Redbacks will be too strong. It's too much of an important game for them to drop this afternoon. They should get the job done.
Coldstream are harder to read than a Year 10 female ahead of her formal. It's a very, very hard game, hard team to read. And of course, Chirnside, Park-Wantirna South, the other game in Division 3, which we will bring you after 2 o'clock. Moving on to Division 2, Bayswater taking on Doncaster East at the home of the Eastern Football League there, Bayswater Oval. I think Doncaster East probably just still a few steps, a few levels behind Bayswater, and I think the Waters will prove that today.
Well, Bayswater win this one, and they can take Donvale out of the top 4 and move in there for probably the first time this year. I'm going to go Bayswater only because it's at home, though. Dan?
Yeah, definitely. Bayswater just because it's home. And I think there's still a bit of a gap between Bayswater and Doncaster East. And look, today if they win into the top 4, a very important game for them.
Very, very important. Also an important game for Donvale today. They take on Doncaster. I think we're in unison about this one, Dan, in terms of it's very much a danger game for Donvale. They've been very impressive, but Donvale Dice over the past couple of years have been one of those teams that they're very inconsistent. They're up and down. They'll win once, they'll get on a bit of a roll, and then they suddenly just come back to the pack. I think they'll win today simply because they just can't afford to drop a game like this, because then they'll start to lose touch of that top 4.
Well, they've only got one spot to play with. I mean, the top 3 spots kind of sealed, done and delivered, basically. There's 10 points between 3rd and 4th at the moment. The top 3 sides are just doing it their own way. But, I mean, Donvale, they're probably lacking to maybe Upper Ferntree Gully at the moment, just leaving themselves wide open down. And they can't afford to lose any games to sides below them at the moment, and I reckon that's the way it'll stay. Donvale to get up by probably 3 or 4 goals. I'm
going to have to disagree with you there, Dyson. Look, I think Doncaster's 9th place standing doesn't really do justice to how well they can play. When you look at players like Chris Anarchis, Michael Batista, and of course the Cheese, Limmer Cheese, one of your men, Ben Waterworth, and they're all quality players there, and it's a real chance. It's a real chance for Doncaster today. I'm going to tip the it's an upset brewing.
Should be a great game. Should be a great game. Looking forward to getting results through as they come this afternoon. The next game we're going to have a look at is, we talked about the top 3 sides being sealed, Dyson, Rowville and Montrose. This is a big, big game. We saw this game a couple of, in round 3, I think it was, out there at Montrose Recreation Reserve. A fantastic game to watch, fantastic place to watch footy. And ever since Montrose lost that game to Rowville, they have not dropped the game since. So call that game a bit of a line in the sand. Call this game a bit of a line in the sand. It's going to be massive. I think Montrose, because their past sort of 2-3 weeks has probably been a little bit more impressive than any other team in Division 2.
Yeah, look, I mean, they've been the most impressive side since round 3, not dropping a game at all. And I mean, Rowville over the last sort of month or so have looked extremely ordinary, dropping 2 games in the last month or so. I just think they're starting to get a little bit tired, the Hawks, at the moment. I mean, I know this game is at home for Rowville. I think Montrose to get over the line, though, to turn the tables on the Demons.
Yeah, look, Peter Baird and Ray Baird's boys have looked very shaky in the last month. I think last time we saw them, of course, Montrose, they lost. But I think since they've learnt a lot and they've really turned their fortunes around, of course.
Good form, obviously not giving the best players out at the moment because he's in fantastic form. And speaking of Ray Baird, he's actually going to be out there at Rowville Montrose today, giving around the grounds report at full time, so looking forward to that, and I'm sure he'll keep us up to date throughout the day. Massive danger game for Upper Ferntree Gully today. They take on Mulgrave, who are very, very close to getting a victory. I spoke to a person out there at Mulgrave during the week, and he can sense that this is the day that Mulgrave are going to break through. I know I tipped Upper Ferntree Gully in the record, and I tipped them during the week as well, but the more I look at this game, the more I think, Upper Ferntree Gully are in for a tough day today.
Well, the thing is that Mulgrave have probably got this week, and then they've got a couple of weeks' time. They play Doncaster at home. That's probably their last 2 chances to try and get those 2 wins to pull themselves out of 10th spot on the table and keep themselves in Division 2 next year. And that's probably going to spur them on this afternoon. I reckon Mulgrave for mine to get up.
Oh, Mulgrave, I don't think so, Dyson. I think, look, it's a
game...
Not
liking me this afternoon, are you?
We can agree to disagree. But, look, it's a game for Upper Ferntree Gully that can really keep their year alive. I think Mulgrave have had a real season to forget, 0-10. Upper Ferntree Gully should do it today, I think.
Waverley Blues taking on Mooroolbark is the final game. Waverley Blues hit some form, of course. The new Bogues draft jumpers look very nice in the middle spread in the Eastern Football today, but I don't think it's going to look too nice at the end because Mooroolbark are primed for a pretty big victory, I think, over the Blues.
Yeah, Mooroolbark just cruising along at the moment, probably the second best side in the competition, as is shown on the ladder in Division 2. I think it's going to stay that way. Mooroolbark reasonably convincing for mine.
Mooroolbark strengths their forward line, and the Achilles heel of the Waverley Blues is their defence, so that doesn't bode well for the Waverley Blues. I think Mooroolbark will do this by about 10 goals.
6 games to go in Division 1. It's the Undale Cup. Croydon taking on South Croydon there for us. She'll have a half-time report as well as a full-time report. So looking forward to this one. We saw South Croydon earlier on in the season. A fantastic game of footy. Michael Zippy King putting on an absolute magnificent performance. And geez, did we love it in the EFL Game Day caravan. Darryl Grant, president of Croydon, came into the EFL offices during the week and he seems confident every week, but he just said, I have this special feeling this week, Benny. I reckon we're going to do it against the arch rival. I don't know. South Croydon have been so close yet so far. Surely they'll finally get an honourable victory for once.
Well, the last time these two sides played out at Hughes Park, it was they couldn't be separated. It was a draw early on in last year's season, and that was one of the most amazing games I think I've ever seen. Eamon Costello punching the ground after the siren went because both sides couldn't be separated at the final hurdle, but I reckon it'll be close like that. It's just a case of whether Croydon can get over the line. They've been close in a number of games, as we've seen, especially in that radio game in round 1. It was they were in it probably till halfway through the halfway through the last quarter, and I just think they need that finishing power, which they lack now. Obviously, the Cubidole heading up to Mount Evelyn is a massive loss. Huge. I think South Croydon for mine, unfortunately for Croydon.
Look, I think Croydon have really improved the last few weeks, though. I mean, you look at their game against Baldwin, of course, right up there in Division 1. They had 22 scoring shots. And then you look at the game against Norwood, they were right in. 19 points from memory separated them at the final, sorry. But look, I think South Croydon, too powerful. Michael King, Mallison, James Crowell, all very good goal kickers. And Croydon have leaked some hefty scores this season, so South Croydon comfortably.
Second game to look at is Lilydale taking on East Burwood. I've got a funny feeling about Lilydale today. I actually tipped them in the record, and I'm pretty sure they're going to win today as well. East Burwood's form, they've dropped right off the pack. They've gone from 2nd down to 8th, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. It's a huge loss. Of course, as we say each week, proves how close Division 1 is in season 2012. Funny feeling out there at Lilydale. They knocked off Scoresby at the LSO a few weeks ago, and I think they might do the same to East Burwood today.
Well, this is last chance saloon for East Burwood this afternoon. They sit a couple of games out already. They're behind the 8 ball. They sit 4 and 5. If they go 4-6, that's bye-bye to the Rams, I reckon, for this season. So too Lilydale. If they get done today, they leave themselves well and truly open for Croydon to just sneak up on them in the last half of the season. So it's a danger game for both these sides, and I'm going to go Lilydale to take another scalp at home.
I agree with you where it's a very important game for East Burwood. One last chance, Dyson. Look, I think they're 4 and 5 at the moment. Season-defining game today. To be 5 and 5 and still be in that finals race, I think too much of an important game for them to drop. East Burwood should do it.
Two of your favourite teams to watch, Dan Senchinger, Scoresby and Knox, and the local rivals take on each other today. Knox have turned their season around in the past 2 weeks, kicking, for once, sort of putting some big scores on the board. It's been quite good to see, and Ryan Jeffrey's been a big part of that as well. Took a great mark during the week, which you saw on EFL TV, kicked 3 goals. I actually think Knox, just because over the past couple of weeks, they've been pretty impressive, but this is going to be a very, very close game.
This basically keeps Knox in touch. If they can manage to win this, it's going to be very interesting. Scoresby still vying for that top 3 spot. They only sit a game off the top 3. The 3 sides, Baldwin, Norwood and Noble Park, all sitting in that top 3. They sit a game outside that. So, look, I mean, for both these sides, it's a danger game in terms of where their finals aspirations lie. I think for Knox, it's more dangerous, and that's going to get them afternoon.
Yeah, I think the last couple of weeks for Knox, it really puts to bed that tag they've had all season of being a defensive team, because they've kicked some very, very good scores, and I saw them last week, and players like Stuckey and McKeer across that centre line and half-back line really got into the contest and delivered the ball forward to players like Ryan Jeffrey, who took one of the marks of the season last week. I think Knox have started to hit some good form at the right time of the year. They should get the job done today.
Beautiful as well, because he took it right in front of the cameraman as well, made for very, very good viewing. 3 games to go. Baldwin taking on East Ringwood. We saw, a fair chunk of us saw East Ringwood last weekend and were quite disappointed, but when you look at it, I know they don't use injuries as an excuse, but they had no ruckman, and they've lost Beanie Deneen, and they've lost a number of other players, Goodman as well. I think Baldwin will be too strong out there at SEM Park today. On top of the ladder, they'll retain that spot.
It's amazing. You go through all the 20-odd games across the league this afternoon, and so many of them are season-defining. This is another one. East Ringwood lose this one, they slip back another game outside the top 5. They put themselves in the danger of missing out all completely, and I think that's the way it's going to stay. Baldwin looking the sharpest of any of those top 3 sides, and I reckon they're going to get the job done this afternoon.
Baldwin has sort of made SEN Park this year a bit of a fortress, barring that game against Noble Park. But after not winning a home game there last year, and they've won, I think, 4 of them this year, they really made it into their own ground. And I think through the midfield they got Ryan McMahon, Ben Harris, players like that who can really expose East Ringwood's injuries and things like that. So I think Baldwin should get over the line.
2 games to go. Norwood taking on Blackburn. Norwood in pretty good form at the moment. I think they'll continue that against Blackburn, who just aren't the same side as last year, Dice.
Well, we expected, personally, I expected this game to be sort of maybe 4th versus 5th as we entered the halfway mark of the season, and these 2 teams vying for finals position. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out that way for Blackburn. They've been very, very disappointing, almost Wantirna South-like this season. Very disappointing.
Quiet, Dyson.
Fourth from the bottom with only 3 wins is not what they would have expected, the boys in the black and red, but I think it's going to say that Norwood have looked reasonably impressive over the middle half of the season.
Yeah, I agree. Norwood have been fantastic. And last time I saw them, I saw Norwood versus Blackburn, and Norwood got home by 46 points. The players like Nick Edge, Jake Ford set the tone early through the midfield, and Brett English booted 5. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Sam McCauley picks him up, because I think they really need Sam McCauley back there as a Division 1 SEN Team of the Year defender last season, so I can really limit Brett English's input. But
possibly the best game out of all games across the EFL today is Vermont taking on Noble Park, 2 teams who have dominated the Eastern Football League for the past 5 years or so. They are in fantastic form now as well. Noble Park, 3rd on the ladder. Vermont, the sleeping giant, after a disappointing season last year. We saw them last weekend. They were scaringly good, and a big game for them today. I just can't tip against Noble Park, though. They have done nothing this year to make you tip against them today. I think Noble Park for mine, but it is going to be an absolute beauty.
Interesting thing for me is Knox win today, Noble Park lose. It then opens up Knox to 3rd position in Division 1. That just shows you how close. Knox is sitting in 6th at the moment. Still have that chance, reasonably comfortable percentage, sitting in 6th spot. Have a chance to finish 3rd in this competition. But I just think for mine, Vermont, they're looking the form side of a couple. You boys saw them last week, and they were reasonably impressive, getting over the top of East Ringwood. I think Noble Park's still one of those impressive sides, but I just reckon Vermont to get over the line at home.
I agree with you, Dyson. I'm a man of my word, and I tipped Vermont as my roughie to knock off the Noble Park Footy Club today. But look, I want to talk about Ben Mullett. He's a fantastic player. Ryan Mullett, sorry.
Star.
Absolute star, and he's never been approached by an AFL club. Now, I don't know how that works, but I think he would slot in very nicely to a few teams' midfields.
Well, his little brother's doing nice things at North Melbourne at the moment. And his other little brother, Ben, at Mooroolbark.
He's a very good goal-kicking midfielder, Ben Mullett from Mooroolbark. So the Mullett family is a very talented AFL family, and I'm sure Ryan, if he keeps at it, well, you just never know, do you? That is all the Eastern Football League games done and dusted. Gentlemen, thank you for your analysis. In-depth, as always. Looking forward to hearing you call this one, Dyson. Of course, your special comments, Dan, after the break here on EFL Game Day. Of course, today's broadcast is brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Go to mformother.efl.org.au. Chuck that in your mobile device browser, press add to home screen, and then you can access all the latest EFL news, scores and updates. We'll be twittering throughout the day through @FootyEFL, and you can text us anytime, 0419 654 082. Whether you're listening to us through 98.1 Radio Eastern FM or video streaming live through efl.org.au. We do a time after the break right here on EFL Game Day. Don't go anywhere, because we're set for a big one here in Division 3. You're listening to EFL Game Day.
Wednesday afternoon between 12 and 2 is a great time to tune into Radio Eastern 98.1 FM for Potpourri. The first half hour features the ladies from the Eastern Regional Libraries with the latest information on what's happening in your local library. Then a great mix of easy listening weather and regular community services, keeping you up to date with what's happening in your community. So join me, Frank Unsworth, every Wednesday between 12 and 2.
Now, what do you do when you have a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but are always busy and often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge you $280 and more for additional services. But at Akira Urgent Care, there's no waiting, and you're only paying a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes other diagnostic services you may need. So which option should you choose? Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink, it's time better spent. Like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Welcome out to KImberley Reserve for the big Division 3 clash this afternoon between Chirnside Park and Wantirna South. It's 8th versus 9th, and you'd nearly have to say this afternoon that the loser of today's game, their season might almost be done and dusted. Wantirna South have the superior percentage, so it is a must-win game, more so for Chirnside Park. It's pretty tough conditions out here. It's a pretty decent old breeze blowing towards the, I suppose, Maroondah Highway end of the ground, so you'd expect most of the play to be up there today, but there's a decent crowd brewing. It's a good game. It's going to be a tough clash. You just know all about that. And two gentlemen that join me this afternoon in the broadcast, you heard them already on pre-match, but I'll introduce them again. My wingman this afternoon and co-commentator Dyson Baker. G'day, Dice.
G'day, Benny. Yeah, like we said during the first hour, it's one of those games, 8th versus 9th. You would just sort of take it with a grain of salt, but as we said, this is last chance to learn for both these sides this afternoon.
Certainly is, and joining us in the special comments chair this afternoon for the second time this year on EFL Game Day is Daniel Sensic. G'day, Dan. How are you today?
Very good afternoon to you, BWS, and to you, Dyson. Look, Dyson, I didn't agree with you a hell of a lot through the pre-match, but I agree with you. One last chance for both sides today.
No one ever does.
Well, where is this game going to be won? Of course, we did delve on it in the pre-match, but a lot of people do just tune in when the match is about to start. Dyson Baker, I'm going to start with you. Who's your tip this afternoon, and why is that your tip?
Look, I went Chirnside Park in the end. I just think both sides have had that key injury to key forwards, and obviously Davo was speaking about a forward that the Panthers got down early on in the year that didn't quite eventuate. But I think matched in the midfield, they're reasonably even, both these two sides. I think their key backs are both reasonably even. I think it's just whether they can find that forward option. I just think Chirnside Park's got that option. I mean, we know that Steve Pepping's 9 goals in 2 games as a key forward.
Is he playing forward today?
We've been told he may start back, but has the opportunity to go forward as a utility. But yeah, look, it'd be interesting to see which way this one's going to slide, but I think it's going to be one in either forward line. I think Chirnside Park to find that option a bit earlier and put the goals on the board early.
So you're going the Panthers?
I'm going to go the Panthers by probably a goal.
Okay, so tipping a close game out here at KImberley Reserve. Daniel Sensic, I saw Dyson Baker look at you as he said Chirnside Park, so I'm guessing that you're going for Wantirna.
Well, we disagree once again, Dyson. I'm going for Wantirna South, but by the barest of margins, a single figure. I think look, you look at the Wantirna South side, they've got a good mix of experienced players and young players. Players who have come in and are really strutting their stuff out in the field, fresh from the 19s and the Colts and things like that. So, and you look at players like Daniel Bedome. I think it will be really pivotal for the Wantirna South Footy Club this afternoon. He controls that half forward line, and he's hard to knock over. He keeps his feet at all times.
They're just walking in front of us now, the Wantirna South.
He's an absolute unit.
Do you want to go through those reserve scores this afternoon? Thanks, Dyson.
In the reserves, it was Wanty South getting up and down 13-15-93 to Chrinside Park, 7-10-52. It was a reasonably evenly game for most of the game, just while we were watching it pre-match. But Wantirna South running away with it for their 11th straight victory of the season.
Whoa, wow, they're going along nicely.
Percentage of about 330 coming into this afternoon, and they've just once again taken another win. So all's looking rosy for the Wantirna South Twos at the moment.
40% in fact, so that's only going to get a little bit of a boost out of there. Both of those reserve sides, development sides, are out in the middle of the ground. They're huddled together, so both coaches speaking to them for about 3 or 4 minutes at this time, which is, I suppose, a little bit unusual that one side doesn't just head straight off the ground. What do you think what's been said out there, Dan?
Keep a lid on it, I think, because if you look at the ladder, the reserves are really travelling fantastically this season. So I think the word would be out there at the moment. This is just a formality for us. Keep a lid on it. We reload and we go again next week.
Let's cross down boundary side for the first time this afternoon to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders. This afternoon we've got the two young'uns of the EFL Media Team standing in the cold, and we've got Braden Ingram and Damien Watson. And we'll start with Damien. How are you this afternoon, mate?
They're very good, thank you, BWS. I can give you the weather report down here.
Bloody cold.
Yeah, it is absolutely freezing, and a very blustery wind down here as well. We are expecting a partly cloudy day here at KImberley Reserve with a maximum temperature of around about 13 degrees. There is a possibility of scattered showers and thunderstorms which may hit throughout the course of the afternoon. The sun is very clouds at the moment, but you can sense there are ominous clouds looming which may hit in the afternoon. Braden, what can you tell us about that wind?
Brings a new meaning to the word fresh down here, boys. Way. Yeah, very fresh down here. He's kicking to the left of your radio. It's a wind down here, and I think it's on this side. Going to be a very good game, though.
For Chirnside, we didn't quite get looking up
well,
Wantirna boys.
Well, actually, I'm going to use an extra advantage me, but well, it could go two sides with their spots on the ladder.
It certainly looks like. I suppose if this game was played from point of view performance last week and this year, except the Devils, funny, but they're included. Yeah, well, I did say, but game last week too, and expected it to be a little bit scrappy. Well, if it's right back into this match, and I'm feeling they might be able to keep it. It is the last throw of the die, so they don't make it today, that they still are a big and continue on a good form run and come down to this game for Chirnside Park. I've heard Brent Davidson as well. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm not. Let's hope that it's.
Just wanting the South have a month of 2 to 3 month against probably the 3 also the 4 bottom. If you look at ladder position, they take them. They open the once they take it to sides that you'd probably being North Ringwood last week afternoon if they can win this afternoon. This year this afternoon, I should.
Them to get a run on look, claiming a skill very hard from the back that performance set up. But there's no reason why they can't produce it again.
Daniel Sensik sitting in this see that the game will be won.
Park-Wantirna South. Daniel Bedone. Oh, he's a fantastic forward, and I think Jamison the last few weeks, Mike. Who in that side, but look, I think Bedone's going to be
well, that's as Daniel so only shining through now. Hope the rain can hold off for the afternoon. There's plenty of parking. Trigger set up the can. And the beers are cold today. You don't have to a cold day, but texting your scores for the team this afternoon on 4082, and of course 40 EFL and at the first. What do you mean at the first bounce? At the first bounce. God, you're unbelievable. Can't get into afternoon on 98. Wants to get a little bit crackly if you get out of your website. And there, let's cross down boundary side. Braden Ingram, what have you got for us?
Yes, Wantirna South just 5 goal in towards the Maroondah High. That's what I'm calling early. I think it's I don't have the windsock, but but actually it's Dyson just passed. Sorry, wrong. At full flight, Reserve Wantirna South.
With the breeze, is Dice?
Look, I mean, it's with a wind like this, it's going to pick up. This ground doesn't hold up under conditions. Obviously, it was wet, reasonably quickly once. You can score probably in the first. That rain is going to come down. Is going to be for mine.
Absolutely. So position.
I reckon I'm going to
taking it away to may as well just row straight over to you. Good bounce are imminent.
Yeah, like the South EFL Game Day EFL web app. Go to in your mobile device screen for your mobile. Everything around the east.
Yeah, definitely, and don't forget Akira, Australia's first medal, 193933. Yeah, your health, your death.
Akira Urgent Care Boundary Riders. So, all set for a start here. The Park last year, the first time at KImberley Reserve, tapped. Chrinside Cousins couldn't quite take it away. Hold up, no secondary ball up. Good to see Jason Freeman straight on the ground. Freeman, the development manager for once again. Good. Both sides for the first time in this game. So another on both these sides trying to work. London grabbed it, but went of the Wantirna South Footy Club to get the first. Not quite find it. Pepping came over. That's centre half back. About 60 metres round from their goal. Good work from Bedome. Tap down, couldn't find a teammate on the so first few minutes. Marking option can't quite find. On that occasion, that was Chris for the Wantirna South. Chirnside Park, the home side. First down, and we'll cross to our and what you got.
Thanks very much. Well, stuff at this match, Sam. The Caleb Gleeson and Leggett is now wearing the
Chirnside Park, number 22, Ben Lucas Morse and
Very nice work by our key urging. Bit of play there. Chris Phillips defending goal side, but wasn't.
So another start. Centre South. The umpire to north back to the centre circle. Good start with Chris Phillips. Devils. On Centre South trying to win it out. But ball going. A couple of players just getting a little bit of they'll throw it up once. Next time going the way of Hugama. Another kick out of the centre square. To go inside for and a downfield free kick's been paid. Basically direct. Looks like your man, Dan, to line up for his first of this afternoon.
Yeah, big player in Montana South look like this. The downfield free kick. It looks like
yeah.
Around, so great work by him.
And looks like he's board for the Wantirna. Chrinside Park yet to score. So far down.
Yeah, Braden said got 2 on the board straight. Really early and fantastic work for the contest and get the rewards. So the ball will be Lehman versus how you describe it, Dyson. Yeah, so not many people. It virtually is up to the boundary work and go and collect the ball. So it's now here at Chirnside Park. Does that mean we still have to take signs?
Is there signs around here?
Oh, there's down here. That clock, yeah. It's finally stop the clock for that one. That was so. Got the tap down for the middle of KImberley Reserve. It's actually maybe where start in this game, but Wantirna South quickly miss Parker. They're going to win the free kick. No, it's going to go to Chirnside Park. Everybody at KImberley Reserve. We don't have a deuce tap man. Fly that animal over the back. Who's going to lead out for it? Further to Martin, who's at the back. He did. There has been held by Taylor Leggett. He's got players out wide. One situation goes over the head. Up and pick it up. He does. Gets to Leggett. Chrinside have the numbers. Quickly we need to find out that number. Kick up towards centre. Kick either in the back. I think free kick goes to Edgecombe. That was a bit of a rubber kick. Over the boundary line and out of bounds. South with the early lead. They are 2 goals straight. Yet to score. We've gone 6.5 minutes.
Ball thrown. Just tapped down on that occasion by Lehman. Targets, but no one can really take it away. The centre clearances. Wantirna South getting the first, last one off the goal, but again tries to find a target. Was the target, I should say, looking in a dome direction, and let's Steve line up for number 2 within the first.
Yeah, definitely. Centre clearance. 5 minutes. He's sprinting up to, so playing an extra man.
On the left boot, managed to slot muscle, except for the two. Clean as a whistle at the moment. To score. We do know there's Wantirna South.
Hard match up on Daniel, but opponent and pepping really.
Once again, I know Brett Davidson's a pretty across boundary side thanks to Akira down there at the 7.5 minute mark.
Certainly is BWS and just getting all the centre clearance. Wantirna, sorry, the Churns a little thinking about making a few earlier Wantirna South.
Make sure you stay on position in another story. Ball might get the clearance here. Racks his opponent up and we'll have now Lehman had the front spot. Hamer. He might win. No. Yes, he will. Players is running for him. Wouldn't be there on fire up for ground level. There. Ground level. Get the clear position. It's going to come in now and bounce it. So okay, there'll be a lot of players following.
Man, you want to put a GPS on it.
Going to have to do a lot to contain the Wantirna South side.
Thank you to the boys down boundary side. Daniel Sensik, we cut you off quickly, sorry. Your final thoughts?
Well, I tipped Wantirna South through the weekend pre-game, and going by how my tips are going so far with some of the results that have come through, my tips always get up, so Wantirna South will win.
Oh, he's got a little bit of the Sean Kelly head wobble about him, and as Daniel Sensik, especially over the last month as the umpire restarts the second half in the middle of the ground. That was good play by Hooghamer to get the tap down and still inside the centre square. Can Wantirna South squeeze a possession out of this. Trying to get ball to boot there was Teakle. Across the half forward line, it's kicked up there now. That was a good pass by Phillips, and the ball goes inside the forward 50 and over the boundary line for Wantirna South. So they're moving the ball quickly. Let's go down to Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care on the boundary line.
Thanks, BWS. Just quickly, we noticed Chirnside Park peppering their attacking half of the second term, and that was quite indicative on the stat sheet. They led the inside 50s throughout the second term, 17-13, and the tackles 13-8.
Ince came over the back and got a timely fist away for Chirnside, and they're going to clear the ball now. The kick was partly smothered that time there by Hocking, and kick goes up towards the half-forward line. Coming over the top of the pack there was Tim Lee. He's got at the back there, good crunching tackle by Luke Lungton to hold the ball up on centre wing right in front of the members' stand here out at KImberley Reserve. Bendigo Bank scoreboard shows Wantirna South kicking straight this afternoon, 9 goals, 256. It's still that 21-point gap as it was at half-time. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds again. Let's go down to Braden Ingram on the boundary line.
Thanks, BWS. In terms of conditions to start this second half, ground's still sunbathed, and it looks like the wind's going to stay up for the rest of the second half, and no rain in sight for the rest of the game.
Lehman got the knockdown, but it was no clear disposal. Plenty of players fall around the pack. That was good handball out there by Campbell. His teammate under a lot of pressure in London. He was quickly wrapped up, so we'll have another bounce. Ball hasn't moved too far. Wing position. Lehman, Hooghamer. Been a good battle all afternoon. Freeman, on the left boot. Kicks it straight out of bounds on the full. So it'll be a free kick to Chirnside. And it's going to go to Campbell. So the kick goes up towards the half-forward line. Wynn held a little bit of that one. Ground level, Lehman's in there. So too is London. Good play that time by the captain in Teakle. Got the handball away, and they're moving the ball through the middle of the ground. Wantirna South, and the kick goes up towards the half-forward line. That's okay. The mark's been taken by Walker, who wants to move it on quickly. Over the top, that was good play there by Jesse Moore. To keep the ball alive for the Panthers across the half-back line. He's not letting it go anywhere. Is the bigger fella, Marcus Baxter, at the bottom of the pack, and we'll have a bounce across the half-forward line. Outer side of the ground. The bench side, the coach's box side, if you know where we're talking about out here. Sun is shining.
May hold off for the rest of the day, but Doan went up in the ruck, tapped it straight towards the boundary line and out of bounds. Bates sees that over.
Yeah, as we saw just here in the centre square just then, Sam McIntyre hanging one kick off the play, waiting for that kick out to really set up their forward drives.
Umpire brings the ball back in now. Only a shade around this one. McIntyre got a little grubber handball, went for the 1-2, snapped it around the body, goes inside 50, but out of bounds on the full. So lots of pressure happening. Score hasn't changed from half time. It's Wantirna South 9-2-56, leading Chirnside Park 5-5-35 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. So it's going to be a free kick to Chirnside. So not too sure what that one was for, but the kick goes up towards centre wing position, fisted over. It was meant for Bahija. They're trying to scrounge a ball forward. Are they? Wantirna through Edgecombe, paddled it to his advantage. Now it's up across the half-forward line for them. Chirnside trying to break through a tackle. Umpire could have nearly pinged holding the ball. Is Tim Lee going to wrap his opponent up? No, it was left to Walker to do the damage. He put good pressure on Beattie, got the handball out to Greg. A stream of handballs gets it across to McIntyre, who set sail for goal. He might have put this one through, but he's pushed it to the left-hand side. And only a minor score is the result. So that's the first score of the second half, and it goes to Wantirna South. They move to 9 goals, 3-57. They're leading at Chirnside Park 5-5-35 with the ball to be brought back in now. Wasting no time on to get on with it. Ince was the target. Bahija had the front spot. It comes to the fall of the ball. Who's down? Caratelli. Moving the ball okay. Ince was under a lot of pressure. Almost threw the ball. Nearly got a free kick too.
High tackle.
With the free kick, it will go the way of Chrome for the Devils. Got players out wide, making good space. Players just pretty much giving hospital handballs, hospital kicks left, right and centre here, just still trying to find their feet in this second half, barging their way through now. The Panthers a kick up towards the half-forward line. Caratelli had the front spot, nearly could have been paid the mark. The umpire said he could have the free kick. Instead he goes out wide. They're surging forward now. The Panthers are short options on. Hamill, can he take the mark? The kick wasn't too crash shot for him. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds right in front of the barbecue here, Daniel Sensi.
Yeah, very disappointing kick then. Look, I spoke about the importance of the first goal of the third quarter. They're currently 22 points behind Chirnside Park. They could close the gap to 16 points with the first one.
Lehman got the knockdown to London. He was quickly felled upon. The umpire said we'll have another bounce.
I think a goal to Wantirna South at the moment would really crush the Chirnside Park Spirits, though. Get the margin back out to that 28-point lead.
First goal's very important, but the ball's down the other end. Hamill got heavily met, but he was up to the task to go in. The second time he was wrapped up. Stepinski. And we'll have another ball up about 25 metres out from goal. It's crossed down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. We've got an injury update.
Yeah, that's right, BWS. Bachiga, number 28 for Chirnside Park, did left ankle. Tried to get up and walk on it, but couldn't, and been helped off by 2 trainers.
Thanks, boys. Down boundary side, we're going to have another stoppage. Bit of bad news for Victor Bahija.
Rowville 9-8-62 at three-quarter time, leading Montrose 3-12-30, and it's not over at Upper Ferntree Gully. The Kings only trail by 6 points at three-quarter time.
And they're playing?
They're playing the Mulgrave Football Club.
So the umpire balls it up now. No clear disposal to anyone, but a quick kick out of the pack was touched, and it was tried to be claimed by Caratelli, but the umpire knew better, and it's rushed over for 1 behind. So that's their first score for the second half. Chirnside Park, they moved to 5 goals, 6-36. Back to that 21-point margin. Wantirna South, the 9-3-57.
Baronia 8-5-53, leading Mitcham 3-10-28 at three-quarter time.
So it'll be Harkness to bring it back in now for the Devils. On the left, as always. Locks to take the long options. It's a lovely kick out towards centre half back, and a good mark taken too by Tim Lee. Waste no time with getting the ball on with it. Hocking's in there to lend in a bit of pressure for Chirnside Park. There's still a hot footy in the middle of the ground. Down at ground level, it was nicely picked up that time by, well, I think it was Chrome. The umpire said, no, I'm going to start this again. So there's been plenty of players just following the ball right around the ground today, Daniel Sensi.
Well, BWS, you mentioned a bit of a sloppy start in the quarter. I think it's due to the pressure of both sides just being so good at the moment.
The kick goes up for Chirnside Park inside 50. Hamill comes out and takes a good mark too. It might be just his range. He's about 40 metres out from goal. It'll be wise to get it onto boot as soon as possible because no one's really back there in the goal square. Should be a few decoy leads coming out of the pack. So it will be Hamill. He's already kicked 1 goal this afternoon. Comes in from 40 metres out. He gave it a good go too, but pushed it to the left-hand side. So another minor score to Chirnside Park. It's been down their end though for the first 3 or 4 minutes though, mostly. So they are peppering the goals. They're kicking against a pretty strong breeze. They need to be within 3 or 4 goals, you would think, at three-quarter time to have any chance in this match.
Brett Davidson, before the match, spoke of last week's wasting opportunities in front of goals, and of course they lost by just a kick.
So Harkness kicks it wide. That was good. Found Teakle. Was left all alone at Andrew Teakle in the back pocket. It's very, very unusual to do so. They're up across the half-forward line now, and they're moving the ball forward through McIntyre, whose kick was a bit of a grubber. It went to the forward pocket. Who's charging out for this one? Chirnside Park can go for the Shepherd. They've got players in London across the half-back line. He's the target now. Can he put his body on the line? He's got to beat 3, and he does. Stand strong. Daniel London, the vice-captain, wants to move the ball on quickly. He does. Finds Ben Beattie, takes a mark, and then takes off too. Scrambling kick up towards half-forward. Was partly smothered by Tim Lee over the top of the pack. Hamill came around and wasted no time. Banged it on his boot, but nobody was home. And a good mark taken by Callum Gleeson at the last line of defence for the Devils. He had players right on his hammer. Kicks the ball across half back. Finds his teammate in Maunder. So just waiting for players to get to position. Maunder. Long kick out to the wing position. Flying over the top there was Daniel London. Got a fist on the ball. Chirnside Park trying to keep the ball alive. The umpire said it had gone over the boundary line right in front of the Wantirna South bench over there. Right near Akira Urgent Care boundary riders. Underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which shows a 20-point differential. It's to the away side. Wantirna South have had the lead from the get-go. The knock is in Chirnside Park's favour. They're across half forward, overrunning the ball with Sam Bates, but he's still putting on plenty of pressure. Handball out there. That was good. Tim Lee banged it on his boot, kicked it up towards half forward. Plenty of players go bang and crash, and it's still in there too. Good play by Moore to just pluck it out. Going in hard also was Harrison. Ducked his head, nearly could have earned a free kick, and a strong tackle by Peter Monk, who might be a little bit too harsh. And the umpire said, no, I'm going to bounce it. So plenty of pressure, Dan.
Yeah, that first goal still looming in this third quarter. It'd be vital either way.
5 bounces it. Handball
Boundary.
over the top. That was okay. No clear possession for either side. Ince on hands and knees. Gets it out towards the Cousins direction. He fell over. Right on his hammer was Scott Edgecombe, and we'll have another stoppage. And the umpire might even say this is an advantage paid. He plucked out a free kick out of nowhere.
The trainer attending to Brent Walker. Coming off the ground.
Kick up towards the half-forward line for Chirnside Park, but Lachlan Grant cuts it off and takes a good mark. He wants to bang it on his boot and kick it up towards the half-forward line. Good play too. And coming out and taking a strong mark. Virtually left all alone was Chris Phillips, the vice-captain of the Devils, and he fancies himself from here. It's crossed down boundary side very quickly thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks, BWS. Callum Gleeson, the ruckman for Wantirna South, just copped a massive falcon, and he's gone off the ground with a very sore face.
Chris Phillips from 45 metres gives it a roost, but he pushed it from the get-go and it goes through for 1 behind. That is their 4th on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The Devils moved to 9 goals for 58. 21 points is the margin here. Chirnside Park at 5-7-37. We've gone almost 10 minutes in this third term.
Hey, BWS, you'd like this score. Doncaster East 13-5-83, leading Bayswater 7 goals 14, 56, 27 points the margin at three-quarter time.
Good effort by the Lions. It's one of their most unhappiest places to play football out at Bayswater Oval. Haven't won there for a very long time, so they may be well on their way. Plenty of good games happening as you go local for your footballers. The kick-in's taken by Morse at half-back. All players streaming to the far side of the ground. He goes short. Gets to London. He's got Hocking presenting a lead. He's also got the big fella Lehman down there. That's probably the option that you'd take. Go to the tall options. There was a scrambling kick too, and chopping off at the back of the pack was Bates. Takes off now. Or Stopinski rather. Bit of a risky kick. Put Tim Lee under a lot of pressure. The fall of the ball, that was okay. Ransom took his time, kicked it up towards the half-forward line, and on the second bite, it was a great mark taken by Sean Murray. Fooled everybody, did Murray. Wants to go on now, 55 metres out, gives it a fair old roost to the goal line. This might even go through at the back of the pack. It can scramble a goal. That was kicked in the tackle too. Wantirna South get the first one for the third term, and what a very timely one that was too. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they moved to 10 goals, 464. Chirnside Park at 5-7-37. And that was a great goal there.
Morrison.
It was Morrison. So thank you to Braden down on the boundary line.
Could very well be the first nail in the first and final nail in the Chirnside Park coffin there, BWS. It's fantastic work there. You look at how Wantirna South spread across the ground when it was on this near wing here, and they set it up. Brilliant work there by Ramsden with his outside work.
The Warrandyte Footy Club, 10-8-68, leading the Whitehorse Pioneers 2-4-16, and Ringwood have kicked away 15-13, 103 to Coldstream, 7-7, 49. Glen Waverley Hawks by 15 points at three-quarter time over North Ringwood.
Some interesting scores happening out there. So that was Papa that kicked that goal. You got your 40s mixed up down there. Morrison plays for Chirnside Park, so it was Papa to kick the goal for the Devils. So the umpire to bounce the ball once again in the middle. Lehman's taken up that position again after coming down from the forward line earlier in this quarter. Kick was partly smothered by Maunder. Dropped off across the middle there. That was Moore. Who's going to chase after it? Need to know who number 8 is for Chirnside Park, boys. Sort that one out for me. There's a ball goes driving in towards the Devils forward line and over the boundary line and out of bounds about 40 metres out from goal.
Scoresby 11-9-75 have kicked away against Knox. The Falcons 7-8-50, 25 points the margin.
Thank you to Ben Waterworth.
Great work there by David Ryan to drive the ball long early in this third quarter.
Number 8's Josh Henderson.
So Henderson is number 8 for Chirnside Park. Quick kick that time around the corner by Leggett. Goes to the top of the square and touched through for one behind. So it's been down more or less the Wantirna end for the last 5 minutes or so down, and they keep increasing their lead. It's now out to a pretty handy 28 points.
28 points. Going to be hard from here for Chirnside Park to get back.
143 to Nunawading, 5-4-34, 109 points the margin.
All of a sudden there really is a big gap between the first couple of sides and the rest of the bunch in Division 4 this year as Chirnside Park surge the ball forward. It's okay. Bit of a skew F bounce. Handball backwards that time by Campbell. His teammate under a lot of pressure, and they're away again. Hooghamer for Wantirna goes towards the Bedome direction. They've got players at the fall of the ball in Phillips. He's putting his teammate under a lot of pressure, and then he just paddled it to his advantage. It's running right across the other side of the ground now, going in hard. That time was Henderson for Chirnside Park. He's got running support in Caratelli in there, put his body on the line. Sam Bates was all over him, and we'll have a bounce about 60 metres out from the Wantirna goals.
Doncaster have kicked 7 goals 6 to Don Vales, kicked 7 goals 6 to Doncaster's 1 behind. So the Vales are now up by 32 points.
What have you got to say about that, Daniel Sensic? As the umpire bounces it up, it came down to Cousins. Gave a little give looking for Henderson. He's got to go in and lend support. Going hard there was Papa, kicked the last goal for Wantirna, scrambled the ball up towards the top of the goal square, a little pot shot at the goals, went absolutely nowhere, and the Panthers clear the ball out towards the half-back line, but it's only going to go as far as Greg if he can just keep it, paddle it to his advantage. He was clever, Greg, banged it on his boot, kicked it deep into the forward line at the top of the goal square. Who's going to get there? Nobody. It's fisted over the boundary line and out of bounds as we cross down to Braden on the boundary line.
It's going from bad to worse for Chirnside Park. Victor Bachia has he's got the left foot elevated and he's got the towel on, so it looks like he's done for the day. Down to 3 on the bench for Chirnside.
Yes, it's unfortunate for Bahija.
Thank you.
Down there, says the umpire. Throws it in. Teakle's in there, got quickly wrapped up. Cousins got boot to ball and got it out of the danger zone. But really, how far did he get it out? Not very far too, as they stream forward and go for the goals, and it's just another blemish. So they're just pounding at the goals at the moment. They just can't find the big sticks to the Wantirna south side.
They want to absolutely kick those because in the next few weeks they've got some big games coming up, and today's their real chance to get a run on.
Gentlemen, check this out. Croydon 12-15-87 leading South Croydon 7-10-52. 35 points the Blues lead by at three-quarter time.
It's all over down there at Hughes Park.
I reckon.
It was brewing too for a couple of weeks, that win. As it kicks up towards the Fenton direction, nearly took a good mark too, then fell on the ground. The umpire didn't pay a push in the back. They're going in hard still, even deep into this third quarter. We've almost gone 18 minutes or thereabouts, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's Wantirna South 10 goals 6, 66. They're kicking away now from Chirnside Park, who showed a bit early in this third term, 5-7, 37.
Park Orchard's also kicking away. Park Orchard's up by 33 points over Canterbury.
I think my tips are doing too well this weekend. So the umpire What about the Vermont-Baldwin game?
Vermont Noble Park haven't got a score yet, but the Bulls were up by 29 points at half-time.
Interesting results. A quick kick out across the half-forward line. Oh, huge fly by Pepping there. Couldn't bring it down. The kick goes to the top of the goal square and rushed.
It's taken a while to get up.
By Peter Monk. So another point is the result. They're making Mark Freeman work very hard down there on the Wantirna side. But they just can't find the big sticks. So it'll be Henderson to bring it back in for the Panthers. They've been going the long options. It hasn't been working. So he's elected to go for the short one. It was a smart move too. Didn't gain too much meterage, but he hit a target. Kick goes out towards the half-back line. That's okay. Mark taken by Campbell. Just need to keep the ball moving. Goes towards the Hocking direction. It's a 3-on-1 situation in the end for Wantirna South, and they managed to pull down a terrific mark. So they're going to reload again. Stepinski, he's been good in this third term. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Right down the other end of the ground, a great fly mark taken there by Brent Walker. He just might even fancy himself from this position too, because he has the wind at his back, and we've seen them kick bot from there earlier on in the game, and he'll look to kick, well, his side away in this one. He hasn't kicked a goal yet today.
He certainly deserves a goal, so you want to
Sorry, he has kicked a goal today. This will be his second. So Walker from 45 metres is a beautiful drop punt off the boot, but it's once again goes across the right-hand side and through for one behind. So after they started kicking ever so straightly, the Wantirna South side, they move on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to 10 goals, 8-68, and it's a 31-point lead now. Back to that 5-goal margin, 5-7-37 at Chirnside Park.
Ferntree Gully Eagles 16-13, 106 to Surrey Park, 2 behinds. The Eastern Lions still hanging in there against South Belgrave. The Lions 4-8-32 to South Belgrave, 8-11-59.
Free kick was awarded to Wantirna South from the boundary line, and a kick on goal has gone through for another behind, a poster from right on the boundary line. That was a super kick.
They've kicked 1 goal, 7 this quarter, Wantirna South.
Lilydale 12-12-84, still holding a 32-point lead. East Burwood 8-4-52.
You'd be thinking Lilydale might get this one.
You'd think. They've been in front all day.
Been able to claim some pretty big scalps this year, Lilydale, if they can get that one on the board. The kick by Chirnside Park goes into the middle of the ground. It went through the arms of Lehman. Fenton's in there. He manages to pick the ball up now. He needs some running support. Well, as always, there's 12 players around the ball, not giving an inch. Who's going in the hardest, though? This time it was Wantirna. They got the ball out. Good, neat pass there by Bates. Goes up towards the half-forward line. They had a fly over the back of the pack. It now becomes a foot race. Henderson is under a lot of pressure. Went straight to ground, but managed to get the ball, get up, and then bang it on his boot. But it went absolutely nowhere because Lachlan Gregg was hovering around the half-forward line for the Devils. He's got players on short, but he wants to move it around and kick it to the hot spot to the top of the square. This is a fair old roost to it. May even go through for a goal. No, it's been touched on the line and rushed through. So they move on to 10 goals, 10-70 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a very handy 33-point lead now. Chirnside, a 5-7-37.
To answer your question about the Vermont Noble Park game, Benny, just got a score through. It's evened up a little bit. Noble Park 12-9-81 to Vermont 9-11-65, 16 points the margin.
Oh, very good game happening out there. Kick in was just banged straight back forward. It's going over the boundary line and out of bounds, about 30 metres out from the Wantirna goals.
Moorpark 12-13, 85 kicked away. The Waverley Blues 8-6-54, 31 points the margin there.
I think it would be enough for the Mustangs. This game, probably one of the latest going around in the Eastern Football League this afternoon.
The latest.
Probably by a long way too, as the umpire will restart it once again. Plenty of stoppages today, plenty of ball retrievals. So
they need a net down that Maroondah Highway into the ground.
Doncaster East style.
Get onto the cancel on that one. Running into an open goal and putting it through to is Wantirna, and that's a beautiful goal too. I think that was kicked by
Sean Murray.
I think it was Murray. And he has put through a very important one. That's his second on the board. And in the third quarter, they're just running away with it now, Daniel Sensic. They're out to a 6-goal-plus lead.
Well, hopefully they can start to turn a few of these points into goals, because they really could have had an extra 5 or so goals on the board this quarter and built on their percentage a bit more.
Any more scores, Ben Waterworth?
Just having a look at them now, and just want to point out Nunawading 21-17, 143 to Nunawading 5-4-34. So that was the base, and they are a very, very good attacking team.
They're pretty much averaging 20 goals a week at the moment, aren't they?
It's ridiculous. And they're conceding about 10 goals per week. They are a seriously good side.
What are the conditions like down boundary side of the Kira Urgent Care Boundary Riders?
Well, still a very windy afternoon, blustery affair, and that 9 News windsock still horizontal right behind you, boys. So no real change to the conditions. The ominous clouds are coming for the worst, I can tell you that, though.
Well, it's under 10 degrees. How many changes have both sides been making down there? Plenty?
Yes, of late. Obviously, Chirnside Park has 3 on the bench, but that's obviously a factor. But yeah, plenty of changes at this stage.
Dyson Baker's gone home. Everybody has to step up to the plate this afternoon in the second half as the ball's in the middle of the ground. I want gold. Lehman fisted probably 30 metres out of the ruck contest. This is their last throw of the dice. Really, you would think they need the next goal on the board, Chirnside, but the ball's been kicked away. That was good play by the backs there. I think it was 68, or maybe it was Jackson Freeman on the left boot. He's got a good mop of hair, considering his old man's got none. So it's still in the back pocket for Wantirna. They had it down there for the first 5 minutes of this quarter, then they've seen nothing of it since then, as Wantirna South have kicked away. The kick goes up towards the direction of Luke London. He's been relatively quiet, couldn't take the marks. Charging him with Scotty Hamill at the bottom of the pack, and we'll have another bounce. So plenty of players getting around it. Both captains in there. They know in time on period it's an important 5 minutes or so. Chirnside can get themselves back within a sniff with the breeze in the last quarter, or we Wantirna who just kick away. Martin took it out of the ruck. He could have nearly been pinged for no clear disposal. Ball's just drifting out of the defensive 50 for Wantirna. Martin got back down, delaying a handy little tackle, and we'll have another bounce.
Big day for Templestowe, 17-9, 111 to Heathmont, 6-10, 46, 65 points the margin.
Wow, Crome took it from the tap in. The umpire said it's going to be a free kick to Crome, so he got hit high.
Forest Hill, 12-9, 81, leading Kilsyth, 4-6, 30, 51 points the margin there.
Had a bit of a go here, Chirnside won the intercept, and the kick was an absolute shocker. Out of bounds on the floor, and Hamill was on a pretty good lead too, so it'll be the Devils to reload again.
Sums up their afternoon really, Chirnside Park. The delivery inside forward 50 has been average at best.
Pretty ordinary game out there at Norwood. Norwood 6-9, 45 to Blackburn, 3-10, 28.
It always seems to be a really low scoring tight game out at Mullen, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It might be the way they play, all the ground conditions.
So the kick out. Didn't go too far. It's across the half forward line for Chirnside. Hamill. It's now in the arms of Campbell. They're mucking around with it. It's all about just getting it on your boot and kicking it, and that's exactly what Tim Lee did as he cut it off across the half-back line, then created a foot race out there. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Who's going to be in there? Bates was there for the handball, but charging across was Moore. Got a little toe poker on it. Wantirna South through the middle of the ground. They're linking up the handballs. That was okay. Gleeson got it across, and now the kick goes inside forward 50. Front spot Chirnside Park had, but at the fall of the ball there was Sean Murray. Tried to snap it around the body. They've got the numbers now. Open goal, beckons, and has put straight through the middle by Sam McIntyre. They've been peppering the goals for the last 5 minutes or so, and rightfully deserved. The ball goes straight through the middle, and McIntyre boots his, I think it's his second for the game, it is, and they move on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to a insurmountable lead now. They're going to run away with this one, Wantirna. 12 goals, 10, 82, and Chirnside Park are 5-7, 37.
45-point margin there.
So let's run through some of those scores in Division 3. Ringwood by 54 points over Coldstream. Templestowe by 65 points over Heathmont. Boronia by 25 points over Mitcham. Warrandyte by 52 points over the Whitehorse Pioneers. And the Glen Waverley Hawks by 15 points over North Ringwood. Park Orchards by 33 over Canterbury. Ferntree Gully Eagles by 104 over Surrey Park. Forest Hill by 51 over Kilsyth. The Basin by 109 over Nunawading. And South Belgrave by 27 over the Eastern Lions.
Thank you, Betty. Around the grounds this afternoon. It was a good link-up goal, that. They've been working hard to get it through the goals, and they've got the reward deep into this third quarter. Who knows how long the game will go for. Game at Campbell. They're going backwards to go forwards. There's crazy talk at this time for Chirnside. They just need to bang it on the boot and get it down forward. That's exactly what Wantirna did there, but it's cut off that time by James Moore. He's going to move the ball quickly. That was the right direction to go to too. Good fly by Fenton, couldn't quite mark it. Maunder took off and then got absolutely crunched in the tackle. The umpire said it was a good one too and paid the free kick. The kick up towards half forward, tried to find Caratelli, but on his hammer was Sam McIntyre. Banged it on his boot and found a teammate in the middle of the ground in Chrome. Goes up towards the half forward line. They're switching the ball really well. They're switching the play well. Wantirna today. It doesn't come off this time as the Panthers are going to clear. Don't know where that kick was going. It went absolutely nowhere. It did create a foot race. London couldn't quite get a handle on it. It's paddled right near the boundary line. It's going to go out now. So clear skills. Oh, it's actually been kept in. That was good play. Everybody stopped, and then Wantirna South ran away with it and kicked it inside the forward 50. Standing tall that time was Badome. He gets down the big man, and he's absolutely crunched by Pepping in a tackle, and the umpire might even reward him here. So it'll be a free kick to Steve Pepping.
Baldwin 13-12-90, leading East Ringwood 6-12-48, 52-point lead for the Tigers.
Running away with it, Baldwin, and probably still they'll be staying on top of the ladder in Division 1 after today. Make sure you tune in to the scoreboard on Saturday night, scoreboard on 98.1 at Radio Eastern at 10 to 6 with Ben Waterworth tonight.
That's the one.
Plenty of great around-the-ground reports due in as well, with Brad Henderson roaming between two games today, Victoria Halkias and, of course, Ray Baird out at some great clashes this afternoon. Arndale Cup, Roeville versus Montrose. It's all happening as you go local for your football today. Lee banged it on his boot for Wantirna South and then kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Good fist away that time by Pepping. It was a timely one too, but it only goes out as far as Chrome. He's been really lively. He gets into it. He gets in and gets the ball. This time he couldn't get away, and it was actually Anthony Papa that time who was on the bottom of the pack, and we'll have another bounce.
Wantirna South are making a fantastic effort this quarter of really locking it into their front half. They don't seem to be letting it out too easily.
They certainly aren't. Deep in that forward pocket. London gets down low, gets tackled though. Tried to run away with it, so we'll have a bounce.
In Division 2, Doncaster East by 27 points over Bayswater. Donvale by 34 over Doncaster. Upper Ferntree Gully only by 6 over Mulgrave. Mooroolbark by 31 over the Blues. And Roeville 32 points in front of Montrose.
28 minutes gone in this third term, and Teakle snaps the ball around the body. It's deep in the forward line for Wantirna South now. Who's at the ball? For the ball. Snap around the body. This could go through for a goal, but it won't. It'll go out of bounds on the full on the opposite. So another let off there.
It's McIntyre again, and he's been hanging around the packs a fair bit, waiting for that handball. That very smart play by him.
It's been okay, McIntyre. Plenty of players putting their hand up today for the Narellan Pools Player of the Day. Don't forget the Trojan workhorse as well, Chirnside. Still got time to get a goal if they can just get some clean disposal through the middle of the ground. Daniel London at centre, cross centre half forward, gets a little give off. He put his teammate under a lot of pressure in Caratelli, but he ducked just at the right time and earned himself a free kick about 50 metres out from goal, and a little bit of lip after, a little bit of a backhander. We'll see a 25-metre penalty paid to Luke Caratelli, and he'll be brought right within range about 30 metres out from goal, and this just might keep them within reach.
39-point difference if he kicks it, but that's the third 25-metre penalty paid against Chirnside Park today, so Brett Davidson wouldn't be very happy with some of the lip they've been giving the umpires.
Well, they won the free kick that time. So Caratelli, from point-blank range, sausage rolls it, and he put it through for one behind, so it was there right till the end, then flopped over the point line, and only a minor score, so not the greatest of third terms for the Chirnside Park Football Club. They moved to 5 goals, 8-38, and it's a 42-point margin here. Out of KImberley Reserve, 12-10-82 is Wantirna South, and they're not done within this quarter yet as Chrome takes a mark across half-back.
Just going through Division 1 scores, Baldwin by 52 over East Ringwood, Croydon by 35 over South Croydon, Lilydale by 32 over East Bowen. They've kicked the first 2 goals of the final term, game over. Norwood by 17 over Blackburn, Scoresby by 25 over Knox, and Vermont trailing Noble Park by 16 points.
Oh, plenty of great games.
Sensational.
Looking forward to hearing all the scores between 5 and 6 on 98.1 Radio East, and this game is going to go right up until 5 o'clock. You just get that feeling. Pepping got the kick up towards half forward. Tim Lee overran it. Caratelli down on hands and knees, tried to get the handball out to Fenton, couldn't meet the target. And we'll have another boundary. We'll have another ball up in the middle. I'm overcalling these stoppages today. scrapfest. We knew that was going to be the case with the conditions of the game today. Matt Clark also mentioned it at the start of play. They just wanted to get the ball and bang it on their boot today, and it's worked in their favour too as the siren goes at three-quarter time out here at KImberley Reserve. It's a 7-goal margin. So, 7 goals, 2 margin, 44 points is the deal out here, and it's the way of Wantirna South. We're at the breeze in that third term, and we're going to cross down boundary side to Damien Watson, who's got a special guest for us, Matt Clark.
Thanks, mate. Matt, just very, very quickly, a 3-goal, 7 term, not as accurate as you would have liked.
No, I thought we took a lot of our chances. We're too far out. We were taking them wide, and we just didn't make them pay. We had a lot of the footy. Inside 50s were some ridiculous amount to theirs, but the wind's dropped. It's just a game about putting your hands on the footy. At the moment, I think we're not running and we're overusing the footy, and we're just taking too many chances that aren't on.
But having said that, Matt, a 44 point surely be insurmountable for your opponents today.
Total respect that they're going to come out. We've wound down a couple of 40-point three-quarter time deficits, so I know it's achievable. The wind's not going to do it for them, but we're going to have to really get our hands on it. I think the first 5 minutes of this last quarter is going to be critical to our result today.
Okay, thanks very much, Matt.
Thank you very much to Damien Watson and Matt Clark are down on the boundary line. We're going to have a break and come back with all the scores from around the Eastern Football League into Divisions 4, 3, 2 and 1 right after this break on EFL Game Day.
We've got an all-out camp-out party going on down at the river on the 9-mile run. Stoke up the fire, gonna have some fun down at the river on the 9-mile run.
Join me on Thursday nights from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the Country Hoedown here on Radio Eastern 98.1. I'll bring you great country music, all styles, ballads, love songs, instrumentals, country rock, country blues and lots more from the 90s and today. Feature albums of new releases, and of course the award nominees and winners from the various awards around the world, information on artists appearing in our local area, and much more right here on Radio Eastern 98.1 Thursday nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the Country Hoedown.
23 after 4, Radio Eastern 98.1 broadcast here in the studio with EFL Game Day, and we'll go back to the last quarter of our EFL match of the day in just a moment. Now we have a full-time score from the MCG between Collingwood and Fremantle played this afternoon, and in the end, as you probably expect, Collingwood came out on top. Final score was Collingwood 15-17, 107, defeated Fremantle 12-6, 78, so a 29-point win to Collingwood. Major goal scorers for Collingwood, Dawes ended up with 3 and 2 each to Cloak and Goldsack, and from Fremantle, Matthew Pavlich ended up booting 5 and Main. Now, the other game being played is over at Amy Stadium in Adelaide between Adelaide and Richmond, and it's turning into a very interesting game indeed. In the third quarter, Adelaide kicked 3 goals to Richmond's only 1, and at three-quarter time, it's only a 5-point lead to Richmond. Richmond 11-7, 73 lead Adelaide 11-2, 68. Major goal kickers for Richmond, Rewell 3 and 2 each to Edwards and Martin, and for Adelaide, Walker has 3, Knights 2 and Callanan 1. So a very interesting game indeed, and we'll give you an update of that final score a little bit later on. Now, what do you do when you have a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but are always busy and often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge you $280 and more for additional services. But at the Care Urgent Care, there is no waiting, and you only pay a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes the diagnostic services you may need. So which option should you choose? Care Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, and phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Care Urgent Care, your health, your destiny.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today, and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor, In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go
Boundary.
for your footy.
Three-quarter time here at KImberley Reserve with Wantirna South leading by 44 points over Chirnside Park. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks, BWS. I'm here with the coach of Chirnside Park, Brett Davison. Brett, the intensity lifted in that third term, but you still went down by 3 goals. Do you still feel you're in the match?
The final siren hasn't gone and the final score isn't up yet, so you're always a chance. 30 minutes, always a chance. It's about us taking some risks and making sure that we continue to run. And if we hit the scoreboard, it's about just putting that pressure of scoreboard pressure on. But, you know, it's up to the boys now. Not much I can do about it. It's about how much they're willing to want and win the grand final that we've got today, which is a really important game.
You just said this is your grand final. Do you really feel the boys can get it if they take those risks?
Well, that's what we're up for, isn't it? That's what I've put the charges in, and that's what we're asking of them. I think they're up to it. You know, now we'll see. You know, they're under the microscope. Everyone can see what they're up to. Are they up to winning a game of footy? We'll just see. Hopefully they are.
Good luck. Thank you very much to Braden Ingram and Brett Davidson, of course, the coach of Chirnside Park. The fourth quarter about to get underway, but let's run through some important scores. And I've got a couple of full-time scores, gentlemen, and it is from Rowville. And Rowville have knocked over Montrose. The Hawks 11-10-76 have defeated Montrose 7-13-55. Big win for Rowville, and Montrose lose their second game of the season, and both of those have gone to, of course, to Rowville. And Upper Ferntree Gully have just got the chocolates over Mulgrave 9-5-59, defeating Mulgrave 7-6-48. So once again, another gallant loss to the Mulgrave Football Club. Let's run through some other scores. Baldwin by 52 over East Ringwood. Croydon by 35 over South Croydon. Willowdale by 32 over East Burwood, Norwood by 17 over Blackburn, Scoresby by 25 over Knox, Noble Park by 16 over Vermont. Bayswater trailing by 27 against Doncaster East, Donvale by 34 over Doncaster. Waverley Blues by 31 over Moorabbark by 31 over the Waverley Blues, Ringwood by 54 over Coldstream, Wantirna South by 44 over Chirnside Park, Templestowe by 65 over Heathmont, Baronia by 25 over Mitcham, Warrandyte by 52 over Whitehorse Pioneers, the Glen Waverley Hawks by 15 over North Ringwood, maybe an upset there, Park Orchards by 33 over Canterbury, Ferntree Gully Eagles by 104 over Surrey Park, Forest Hill by 51 over Kilsyth, the Basin by 109 over Nunawading, and South Belgrave by 27 over the Eastern Lions BWS.
We've gone a couple of minutes in his final term. No score's been kicked yet, but Phillips kicks it to Badome, and what a great duo that has been. And Badome is going to line up for goal from about 40 metres out, and he's already kicked 4 this afternoon. This will make it 5.
He loves this situation.
It's a good side for a left-footed too. He's very good in his approach. Always confident as he kicks over the ball and generally kicks through it too. You'd back him most days of the week from this position. This would be a great start for the final term for Wantirna South if he can put it through, and he certainly does that. 5 goals to Daniel Badome, and he's earning quite a few friends out here in the Eastern Football League media team as we look towards our votes later on in the game, and they're just kicking on now. Wantirna South, it was an important one for them to get the first goal on the board, and they moved to 13 goals, 10-88 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's out to a 50-point lead now. Chirnside Park 5-8-38 as we cross down to Damien Watson on down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks very much, BWS. Just some of the key statistics for the third quarter. Wantirna South led the set of clearances 6-3, the inside 50 16-9, the handball receives 15-13, and an insurmountable 15-2 in the tackle count.
Thank you very much to Damien, and Braden no doubt was over at the other huddle.
Yeah, I certainly was. Didn't get any stats, boys, but the real key message was that do not go down the wings. They've done that all game, and it's really cost them Chirnside Park when they're going forward.
Ball's deep in the Wantirna South forward line, but they're going to get out of trouble as the kick by Henderson for Chirnside Park goes towards the Pepping direction. He takes a cracker of a mark across half back. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was actually Aaron Fenton Also wearing the long sleeves this afternoon, goes up towards the half-forward line. Who's going to be able to get it? London. He was gang tackled that time by Stupinski. Ball still spills loose. Good work by Stupinski to follow it up to and help his teammate out in bait. So we'll have a ball up.
Baroni have got out of jail 11-8-74, defeating Mitcham 6-13-49, a 25-point win for the Hawks.
So good win by Baronia. This game's almost dead and buried, even though it's only gone a couple of minutes. Fenton got boot to ball. He kicked it up towards the half-forward line for Chirnside Park. The captain, Teakle, for Wantirna South, though, is the first one to get onto the end of it, and he kicks it up towards the half-forward line. That was good. Found Leggett. Takes off now and then was tackled. Go a handball off to Bates, but they've still got running support. Greg linked up well in the middle. They kicked it up towards half-forward line. Who's going to go after this one? Freeman was there. Then he created the Shepherd. They're still across the 50-metre line. Kick up towards the top of the goal square. It's going to be Henderson again. He's been serviceable for Chirnside Park this afternoon in the back line. Cuts it across to Peter Monk. So Monk bangs it on his boot. You can still see that wind quite evident out there as the ball's right near that centre wing position. Ryan gave a handball back. Kick up towards the half forward now for the Devils. Nicely fisted away that time by Moore. Down on hands and knees and winning a free kick. Oh, which way is this going to go? Both players went in pretty hard then. And I think it's going to go against Ben Beattie. He doesn't look very happy. So it'll be a free kick to Wantirna South. And he might even give himself a 25-metre penalty here. I think there has been a 25-metre penalty.
Yeah, there has.
You'd be happy with this one, BWS. Doncaster hanging on for a 10-point upset victory over Bayswater.
Doncaster East.
Doncaster East, that's the one.
East Doncaster.
The kick inside forward 50 into the arms of Brent Walker. Left unattended about 25 metres out from goal. That's not really good enough, and this will really shut the gates now. It's all about percentage, Wantirna South, that we're looking at this stage, Dan.
Frustration creeping into Chirnside Park at the moment. Third 25-metre penalty, and of course not manning up. That's a sign of frustration.
Already kicked one goal, Walker, and that's a beautiful kick off the boot, and that's his second and their second in this final term, Wantirna South. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they moved to 14 goals, 10-94. Chirnside Park 5-8-38. We've gone 7 minutes here in the final term.
56 points the margin, so big percentage booster for Wantirna South, as you were saying, BWS, which is going to really come into play when they are battling for that last place in the finals.
It's crossed down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. What are the benches looking like down there, guys?
Yeah, thanks BWS. We've just had Aaron Fenton come off. He's just been taken care by the trainers. Got hold of his left shoulder, so just another bad injury down here for Chirnside Park.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Cousins came charging through for the Panthers. Gave a handball out, but put his teammate under pressure. Charging through was Brent Walker. That was good. Pappa's in there too for the Devils. Gets boot to ball now. Kicks it towards the boundary line. It may have gone on the full. Just falls inside, so a boundary throw in. Almost centre wing position here, right in front of the fans.
I'm not sure Aaron Fenton would come back on today. Why would you if you're 56 points down and he's holding his shoulder? I'm pretty sure Brett Davidson will put him on ice for next week.
Let's hope he can get back for next week. No. The stoppages are just taking way too long this afternoon. It's I'm nearly going to say it's not good enough.
He said it while we were waiting. BWS, Donny East by 10 points over Bayswater, Upper Gully by 11 over Mulgrave, and Montrose by 21 over Roval by 21 over Montrose.
Are they final scores?
They are final scores.
Oh, so the Roval boys will be pretty happy, including one Ray Baird, who's giving a after-ground report this afternoon up towards the half-forward line. Edgecombe takes it for the Devils. They had players streaming everywhere. Now the lead from Bedome comes out. The big man didn't have front spot, and he didn't like the fact that Ince was right in his way and gave him a nice big fist to go on with it too. So the free kick, it will go to Jason Ince, centre half back for the Panthers.
Ince has often been that second man up in the Bedome contest today, and he's done all right, but Bedome's kicked 5 goals, of course.
So Ince has to move the ball now. That's a beautiful kick into the middle of the ground too. No one could quite take the mark. Coming across was Papa. Gave the handball out. Now it's across the half-forward line for the Devils. Streaming out and taking a good mark too was Sam McIntyre. He had a good 5 metres then on Kyle Harrison, and he'll have a shot from goal for about 45 metres out. He's got the sun in his eyes. He's against the breeze, but I think this just might be within his range.
Fantastically spotted up target there by Lachlan Gregg. He was under pressure and found McIntyre deep in the forward pocket.
So Sam McIntyre It's already on the board today. Tough position, kicks it to the top of the square. Rush through for one behind. So a minor score again to the Devils. They move to 14 goals, 11.95. Chirnside Park still sitting on those 5 goals, 5-8-38.
Big upset. Glen Waverley Hawks 15-10-100, defeating North Ringwood 8-8-56, 44-point win to the Hawks. They are the team to beat in Division 3.
Aren't they? Absolutely flying, the Hawks, this year in 2012. They're just thumping sides now as in thumping the ball inside 50 towards the Phillips direction. Wantirna South on hands and knees. They've got players running through Cousins. He's been good. Keeps a calm head. Gets it across. Had the running support of Beattie. Broke one tackle. Got it to Pepping. Pepping got it to Hamill. Hamill back to Pepping. This is looking a little bit better as they go up towards the half-forward line. The target was intended for Luke London. Wantirna South had the numbers at the back. Kick into the middle to Greg. Out wide now they go. Brent Walker takes a good mark. Takes his time too. Short passes on. They've got players everywhere. If they can just hold their feet, it doesn't matter anyway, because Sam Bates, who lost his footing, took the mark on his chest at ground level. No, it's Scott Edgecombe. So a terrific bit of play there. We won't call that Lux of Fortune because he was absolutely going for the ball at all times. So he'll be having a shot from goal. He hasn't kicked one yet this afternoon, but he wants to get amongst it. He wants to get involved in the celebrations. He's just watched McIntyre from virtually the same spot kick it, and he gave it a fair old go too, but just threw for one behind. So 12 points on the board now for Wantirna South. They are 14 goals, 12.96 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 5-8-38 are Chirnside Park.
A mark like that to Edgecombe really deserved a goal there. He did all the hard work but didn't kick the goal in the end.
Final score at Arctic Park, Coldstream 9-9-63, getting thumped by Ringwood. Ringwood 21-16, 142.
He's trying to tease a few people there with that one, Ben Waterworth, as Pepping took the ball from the kicking, got a little handball out to Monk, who banged it on his boot up towards the half-forward line. Hocking got down low, the big man. That was good. Tried to trap it. You don't want to get pinged for that. Fire will come in and bounce it. It's in a half-forward for Chirnside Park.
Just repeating, the Glen Waverley Hawks have defeated North Ringwood by 44 points, 2 losses in a row for North Ringwood.
Do they still sit on top of the ladder?
That's a very good question. I'll find out for you. Do some maths. Donvale 17-15, 117, defeating Doncaster 13-6, 78. So Donvale with an important victory, a good, very good second half performance there.
Right on to Donvale. Ball's over the far side of the ground now. I know it rushed over by David Ryan, so we'll have a boundary throw in just forward for Chirnside Park. 12 minutes gone in this final term. Try to bring it in now. Over the back, Pepping. Got a good fist on it. Gained a valuable 20 metres or so. Ball still stays alive. Pepping was nearly the first one to meet it. Henderson's out there as well, so we'll have another boundary throw in.
So Doncaster East by 10 points over Bayswater. Donvale by 39 against Doncaster. Upper Ferntree Gully by 11 over Mulgrave. And Rowville by 21 over Montrose in Division 2.
Well, so it all changes again with Doncaster East beating Bayswater today. Other sides, plenty of sides still with a chance to play finals this year as the race continues. It's deep in the forward line for Chirnside Park. Trying to get a handball out there was McIntyre for Wantirna South. It's still in there, down on hands and knees as a vice captain, Daniel London, holding the ball in there 20 metres out from goal. They need to get their 6 on the board. They haven't scored for a very long time in the goal department. Fist away that time by Jackson Freeman. That was very handy. Gained about 30 metres or so. That was good. Bates on the left boot. That went absolutely nowhere. I think it's gone out of bounds on the full. It has. So a free kick will go to Chirnside Park. It's going to Beattie. Drives the ball long to the top of the goal square now. Who's going to be down at the fall of the ball in the front and centre position? Hocking's in there. Oh, they're going to clear it well. Edgecombe tried to get the ball out. Pye letting it go. Good play, Papa. Little toe poke. Gets it out. Fenton bangs it on his boot from about 40 metres out from goal. This might go all the way, and that's a very good kick there by Aaron Fenton. That's their first goal in over a quarter now, Chirnside Park. And they move on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to 6 goals, 8-44. Still trailing, though, by a long way. 14 goals, 12.96 is the Wantirna South Football Club.
Check out some of these scores. Croydon, first victory for season 2012 by 50 points over South Croydon, and Lilydale by 68 points over East Burwood, and Scoresby by 44 over Knox.
Some pretty big margins this afternoon.
Very big. Yeah, some very big margins. Not a lot of close games across the league.
So just waiting for the ball to come back into the middle, which it does so now. Martin went up in the ruck. Hemel tried to get a toe poker, overrunning it was Teakle. They're moving the ball forward again, Chirnside Park. Can they make it 2 in a row? It's about 20 metres out from goal. Hocking got down low. Managed to do that quite well for a big man, especially on a day like today when the ball's been hitting the ground numerous times. He has been doing well. Good fist away that time from the stoppage. They're going to clear it, Wantirna, through the middle of the ground. Handball went to Bates, but it wasn't a good one. London of the Stewart variety tried to play for a free kick, got it over to Beattie. He was gang tackled. I said, we haven't had many bounces today, so give it to me. I want to do it again.
It's interesting to see Aaron Fenton back on the ground after he was gone for all money just about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we heard nothing from our Akira boundary riders as he returned to the field. There's a kick by Hamill, goes up towards the forward pocket and coming out. Hocking took it on the chest and there was heavily met. Henderson over the back, just hits the deck straight away. And we will have a ball up in the forward pocket for Chirnside Park as the time ticks on to 15 minutes here in the final term. The umpire throws it up now. In there was Teakle. He was happy to see it over the boundary line, so another stoppage.
Some more scores coming in. Forest Hill defeating Kilsyth by 56 points.
Oh, that's
so
a big win.
Yeah, good victory in the end. Good second half performance by the Zebras.
So the umpire throws it in. It was fisted by Stopinski. Got it out to Beattie. Beattie moved it along. They've got it out of the danger zone, only as far as Fenton. He kicked the last goal. Maybe he wants to make it 2 in a row, Fenton. What a beautiful kick that was. And although this game may be over, Chirnside Park, they're not letting die, and they kick their 8th goal on the board. That's Fenton's second. They move on to 8-8-56. They're still trailing though, 14 goals, 12-96.
What a fantastic return to the field by Aaron Fenton. 2 goals in the last 5 minutes.
Ferntree Gully Eagles 21-15, 141, defeating Surrey Park 3-20. 121-point victory for all those playing at home.
So Surrey Park struggling to kick a score. Little disappointing.
Check out this score though. The Basin 25-23, 173. Nunawading 6-8-44.
Unbelievable that they could kick that many goals against a side who only sits a couple of positions below them. There's a kick up towards the half-forward line in the Bates direction for Wantirna. He had the kick on, but he got hit as he kicked it, charging through nicely was Campbell. He attacked the football, banged it on his boot up towards the wing position, found a teammate. That was okay. Kick up towards the half-forward line. Getting dark out here at Kimberley Reserve. At the fall, the ball Walker to the middle of the ground. Kick up towards the half-forward line, towards the Walker direction, who didn't have it beforehand, but he's thereabouts now. Monk got the handball out to Cousins. Cousins to Hamill. Geez, he covers a lot of ground. Scott Hamill kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Henderson. Been serviceable. Kicks it around the body. Left foot pass. Went pretty much nowhere as Chrome chopped it off. Last line of defence. They're just playing around with it a little bit now. Wantirna South suck a few more minutes out of this game. Hugamer, Kevin, kicks it out of the half-back. Have moved the ball onto the wing position now. Over the head of Sean Murray. The ball goes. Now it creates a foot race. Along with Michael Campbell, who just sat on the ball, really not wanting to get rid of it. The umpire said it was legal, so we'll have a bounce. 65 metres out from the Wantirna South goals.
Norwood 14-11-95, running away with it against Blackburn 4-11-35.
Moore did well, got the 1-2 and kicked it into the middle of the ground. He's looking for Ben Beattie. If the ball can just sit up for him nicely, it does now. Goes over the top. He put his teammate under pressure in Scott Hamill. The ball went too far for him. Oh, that was really good play by the Wantirna South backs to keep the pressure on and then kick up towards the half-forward line. But chopped off nicely there by Peter Monk. Gave the quick give. Moore in the middle of the ground. Little chip over. Cousins is in there too. Beattie come alive really in this last quarter. Goes back inboard. Cousins didn't really look where he kicked it, but it was a nice floating kick off the boot anyway, and it goes up towards the half-forward line. Ball's fisted away. Who's going to be front and centre? Henderson overran the ball, tried to kick it off the ground instead of actually just picking it up. Freeman's in there also, and we'll have another ball up 55 metres out from goal, Chirnside's end.
So Croydon by 50 points over South Croydon, Lilydale by 68 points over East Burwood, Norwood by 60 over Blackburn, Scoresby by 44 against Knox, and I think Vermont have won. I'll just confirm it to you. They've come back from 16 points down at three-quarter time.
Oh, huge result beckoning there. Is the man of the moment, Aaron Fenton, kicks it up to the hot spot, top of the goal square for Chirnside. The Devils are going to clear though. Ball's pushed out. It's still hugging that boundary line. Fenton trying to keep it in, but line beats him as it's beaten everybody today. It's beaten all of us out here at KImberley Reserve.
If Will Taylor was here taking the stoppages down, he would have needed about 10 sheets.
Or his little iPad would have had a meltdown, one or the other, as the ball's thrown in. Martin tried to trap the ball. Hamill came in hard. You can see the frustration on some of these guys' faces. Harkness, he's been good all day for Wantirna South. Sees the ball over the boundary line, out of bounds.
Doncaster East by 10 over Bayswater. Donvale by 39 over Doncaster. Upper Ferntree Gully by 11 over Mulgrave. And Rowville by 21 over Montrose.
Oh, Mulgrave getting close, but no cigars again. No, it can't be too far away. How's that Croydon-Arndale Cup score looking?
Croydon have won by 50 points against South Croydon. Look forward to hearing Victoria's report after the game.
Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to speaking to people from down at the club on EFL Sunday tomorrow morning, no doubt. The ball's on the half-forward line with Lamb for Chirnside. Just bangs it on his boot inside 50. Good fly and good attempt at mark. Has it even been paid a mark down there? It has. So Scott Hamill has gone flying over the back of the pack and ripped down an absolute perler. He tries tirelessly, Scott Hamill. He'll have a shot from goal about 45 metres out. It's on the right side for kicking goals today. The wind should help him. He's yet to put one through. He has put one through. I'm getting that wrong too many times. Where's Dyson Baker when you need him? So Hamill for his second of the day. It's a good kick off the boot. It's going right to the line. I think it's gone over two. That's a great captain's goal. Never say die attitude by Scott Hamill. Sees him put through his second and his side's ninth on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And they move to 9 goals, 8-62. Well, it's back to a 34-point margin, so they're not allowing a blowout. And the Wantirna South are 14 goals, 12-96.
40 points the margin. And look, Brett Davidson will be really happy with the way this quarter's gone. I mean, it was looking like it was going to be a 10-plus goal hiding a few minutes ago, but credit to Chirnside Park. They haven't dropped their heads and they've managed to get a few back.
Waverley Blues going down by 51 points to Mooroolbark. The Mustangs 18-16, 122 to the Waverley Blues 10-11, 71.
I don't think the scoreboard's been changed after that goal, but they're going to charge out of the middle again through Beattie. Goes to Hocking, so they could make it a couple in a row at Chirnside Park as Hocking takes a mark about 20 metres out from goal. So big bit of play here. Got nothing, Dan?
Oh, this game has just dragged on and on.
Matt Hocking from about 35 metres out from goal. Rob Sharp's probably listening too as he puts through his first of the afternoon, and bang goes to goal. Oh, they look pretty confident too, so my bad. Apologies out there, Panther fans. It's only a minor score, and they move on to 8-9-67. 8-9-57, trailing 14-12-96. I could have sworn I called 8-8-56 earlier, and then they kicked that last goal, so wait and see that result later on.
The Templestowe bandwagon just keeps on rolling. The Dockers by 40 points over Heathmont this afternoon, 18-12, 120 to the Jets, 11-14, 80.
So Heathmont in a bit of a form, what would you call it? Form slump.
Big time. They're in strife now of missing out in that top 5 if they're not careful.
Templestowe, though, they found their mojo and they are continuing on very nicely. Looking forward to watching them at some point in the near future. Fenton from 55 metres out from goal goes deep in towards the Hocking direction. Right on his hammer is Hoog Hammer. And it's rushed over the boundary line and out of bounds for another stoppage. How are you guys going down at boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care?
Absolutely freezing, BWS. It gets colder and colder as the day wears on.
Thank you, guys. Darren McKenzie's got a packet of concrete in here for you when you're finished up for the day as the umpire throws the ball back in. Snap around the body by Morse. Went absolutely nowhere. Beattie this time. Gang tackled and rushed over the boundary line and out of bounds. So another throw in here.
Can confirm to you, BWS. Margin. Vermont, 3-point winners over Noble Park. 13,
I chose them as the roughie through
89 to Noble Park, 12-14, 86.
Very good. I got one back on you there, Ben Waterloo.
You did. Well done, sir.
Got to get one back when you lose 5. As the ball's thrown in this time, Habel over the back. He could have given away a free kick or in the back. Eyes, no. I'm going to start it again. Someone was counting these stoppages today. We've nearly got to be going for a record, and the ground's actually in quite good condition as well. There's no clear possession, and the kick ball's just kicked straight towards the boundary line to be rushed over again. They're going to keep it in though. Chirnside, Henderson, snap around the body, kicks it to the hot spot. That's a good kick too. Ball's fisted away and rushed over by Freeman out of bounds. So a throw in right next to the behind post, Chirnside's in.
South Belgrave have kicked away in the final term to win by 46 points, 11-13-79 to the Eastern Lions 4-10-34.
So the Eastern Lions that's not a very good performance by them this afternoon.
Well, they were in it for most of the game, but they've kicked away in the final
goals,
term.
though.
Yeah. Only the 4 goals. It's pretty disappointing.
It was a scrappy affair up until pretty much three-quarter time.
Basically, yeah. And they've put on the afterburners after three-quarter time, the South Belgrave.
And the Saints win again. Lehman took it straight out of the ruck. The umpire said that's holding the ball. No clear disposal. It's crossed down to Braden on the boundary side, thanks to a care urgent care.
Yeah, I'd have to say Brett David's been pretty disappointed by this final term effort. He said to the players this was their grand final, and really they have, throughout this game, been pretty disappointing.
Kick up towards the Phillips direction. He's been relatively quiet this afternoon in a side that's dominated most of the day. Moore's on his hammer. He's been pretty good. Umpire's going to come in and bounce it at 70 metres out from the Wantirna South goals. They'll be looking to finish this game on a high. Chirnside having kicked the last couple of goals. Matt Clark will be wanting his boys to be going right till the end. Comes down. Murray went straight through his hands, but he got down again. He was tackled harshly by Harris, and the umpire let it go. Cousins is in there. So too is Phillips. And we'll have another bounce at 60 metres out from goal. Wantirna South's end.
Boundary.
It's crossed down boundary side to Damo, the freezing Damien Watson.
BWS, I'm just interested in your thoughts on Wantirna South. Do you judge by their performance over the past 2 weeks as being a legitimate finals contender, as a blood brawl has been called on the ground?
It's probably perfect timing to have a type of discussion like this. Wantirna South, look...
Seems so bored in the commentary box. I needed to generate something.
We want something to happen. Don't you worry about that, Damien Watson. As the game has stopped and started all afternoon, as we've got a blood rule coming off.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Callum Gleeson's cop one to the nose.
Yeah, see if you can maybe have a quick chat to him. No, better not annoy him. Matt Clark won't be happy with that. But we're just waiting for the game to restart once again. We might be calling even once we go off air. Who knows? This is the closest we're ever going to get to 5 o'clock, as Martin took the knockout from Chirnside Park out of the stoppage and fisted it along. Running really hard there was James Moore. Kick off the ground. Was clever enough to gain some valuable meterage. It's still along that wing position out there. Charging through was Harrison. Banked it on his boot up towards the half-forward line towards London. Now it's even deeper inside forward 50 right near the boundary line. Who's going to manufacture something from this? Pepping around the body. The snap went right across the face and out of bounds. So over she goes one more time for a throw-in.
Probably a good idea we didn't get out to Warranite today, because Warranite have won 15-15-105 to the Wildest Pioneers 5-5-35.
An amazing win by the Bloods out there. That's got to be their highest score for the year.
Morello at least 6 from what I understand.
Okay, so the magic hands of Morello are back in full swing. He's been relatively quiet this year, or well held, Michael Morello, as the ball goes out towards the half-back line. For Wantirna South, Papa put his body on the line. He did really well too. He had Fenton on his hammer charging through his Martin. Another bounce.
We had definitely the last game out of all Eastern Football League games this afternoon, as Darren McKenzie actually vacates.
He's Gonski. As the umpire to bring it in one more time. It's 6 minutes to 5 o'clock here on EFL Game Day. We've gone 27 minutes here in the final term. Fenton kicks it inside 50 for Chirnside Park. Pepping was on the lead. Caratelli at ground level couldn't quite handle the ball. And Wantirna South are going to clear it again. This is Bates charging through the pack, getting it onto Papa. The boundary line beats them. Another throw in.
In Division 1, Croydon by 50 points over South Croydon. Lilydale by 68 over East Burwood. Norwood by 60 over Blackburn. Scoresby by 44 over Knox. And Vermont by 3 points over Noble Park.
Wow, what a game it was out there. Very tempting it was to maybe head out there too, as the ball goes out up towards half forward. Harrison met it, couldn't quite take it. Wantirna South, maybe one more throw of the dice they've got, but Dome, he was wrong-footed, couldn't